Chapter 939. Zi Shueko Night. Luo Feng hated within. He was still one step behind. Now he was in trouble. Luo Feng slightly bowed to show respect. Greetings, Zi Shueko Night. Little punk, you're really powerful. Zi Shueko Night looked at Luo Feng, smiling and yet not. You actually managed to play a universe knight like a fool, making him come all the way here for nothing. No matter how powerful you are, you still couldn't escape Zi Shueko Knight's pursuit. Luo Feng shook his head, after which he looked curiously at Zi Shueko Knight. I wonder if Zi Shueko Knight can answer my questions. Even Qing Shueko Knight was lured away by me. I wonder how you managed to find me here. Zi Shueko Knight looked with interest at Luo Feng. She didn't expect the mastermind behind the theft of the useless black metal board to actually speak so casually in front of her, almost as though he was talking to an elder. Was this punk not worried at all? Not worried that she would kill him? Not worried that her soul would enslave him? Zi Shueko Knight. Luo Feng was getting goosebumps from being stared at. You're not afraid I'll kill you or enslave you? Zi Shueko Knight asked. I've already fallen to such a state. I can't even resist. What's the point of being afraid? Luo Feng said. Interesting. Zi Shueko laughed. Little brat, you sent your Masha subordinates to steal, but it was only a useless metal plate made of a special material. Even though it's special, it's completely useless. Terasha has the Ice Prison Star Stone. Instead of stealing the Ice Prison Star Stone, he actually stole the useless black metal board. Interesting. The main thing is that my subordinate is useless. His vision is too narrow. His knowledge of the treasures of the universe is too little. Seeing the black metal board and realizing it's special, he decided it was a treasure, hence he stole it. Luo Feng shook his head. Maybe he knew too. The Ice Prison Star Stone would be even more tightly guarded, hence he didn't have the confidence to steal it. He's very smart. If he stole Tarash's Ice Prison Star Stone, then Tarasha would immediately suspect he's a fake Biva. Zi Shueko Knight nodded. This black metal board was something I obtained back then. However, after some research, no one was able to discover its use. Hence I treated it as a plaything amongst my clansmen. Finally, it landed with Tarasha and was left there casually. Luo Feng was stunned. Plaything? Indeed, this black metal plate contained the 9 Tribulations mystic tome. It was restricted by the laws of the universe and could only be used by one person. For others, they couldn't obtain the 9 Tribulations mystic tome, nor could they use it for others. The 2 venerable ones probably did not recognize the uniqueness of the black metal board's material, so they naturally treated it as a toy. I wonder if Venerable Zi Shueko will let me go. I'm willing to atone for what I've done. Luo Feng bowed slightly. It wasn't that he was imagining things, but according to the Virtual Universe Company's information, Zi Haikao and Qing Shinko were both very fond of treasures. There were indeed some other races that were captured and ordered their subordinates to bring treasures to redeem themselves, and they succeeded. Let you go. Zi Shueko Knight looked at Luo Feng with interest. That's fine. That black metal board is also a plaything. I'll just sell it to you. However, the price to pay for it isn't small. Please speak, Zi Fika Knight. Luo Feng was delighted within. There were many examples of people being redeemed. He didn't expect himself to be so lucky as to not even get the black metal board back. Looking at your methods and background, you're not ordinary either. The price will naturally be higher. Zi Shueko Knight's expression suddenly sunk. Looking at Luo Feng, he said seriously, Little punk, you actually forced Qing Shinko Knight to ignite his undying body. Obviously you've angered him. Looks like letting you go won't do. Luo Feng's expression changed. He knew that Qing Shinko Knight was infuriated by the Masha clansmen. Follow me. Zi Shueko Knight didn't waste any more words with Luo Feng. A formless space ripple engulfed the surroundings. So. He immediately teleported 3 times. Every time he teleported over 1,000 light years. When the scenery before Luo Feng finally stabilized, he was already on an incomparably ice-cold planet. Luo Feng looked around. This was a vast and endless ice-cold planet. In the sky, he could see other ice hell planets. This is the ice hell planet, and it should be an extremely large one. It's where Z Shuko Knight or Qing Shinko Knight lives. Luo Feng thought. Where's the ship? Luo Feng realized he was originally in the ship, but now it was gone. Looks like the life-form ship has been taken away too. Rumble. A strong energy appeared in mid-air, staring down at Luo Feng. It was Qing Shinko Knight. Huh. You've really lost face this time. Z Shueko Knight laughed. This human. Qing Shinko Knight landed and stared at Luo Feng. You arranged for that Masha clansman? Where was the main body of the Masha clan? He actually dared to seek death so easily. It's definitely not his main body. Qing Shinko Knight, that Masha clansman's main body is my good friend. Luo Feng said respectfully. I've asked his Masha clansman to help me this time. I already owe him a favor. How can I reveal him? Z Shueko Knight said beside. Fool, just name a special person. For example, this friend of yours. He's the disciple of the huge axe creator, the primal chaos city leader's disciple. Anyway, he's the disciple of the absolute beings of your human race. I'll see if he dares to take revenge. Z Shueko Knight laughed. Qing Shinko Knight stared at Luo Feng. Hateful. Too hateful. Killing you just like that. It's too easy on you. Suddenly, in the distant sky, space rippled and 10 silhouettes appeared from the universe. Be it Qing Shinko or Purple Shueko, they were all handsome and bewitching. They all swooped down one after another. And there were more and more. The surrounding space rippled and appeared one by one. This is the one who disguised as me? Bei Fa stared at Luo Feng. The one who disguised as you has already been killed. This is the mastermind. Qing Shinko Knight said solemnly. The leader is so powerful. Not only did he kill the disguised foreign race, he even captured the mastermind. Bei Fa said excitedly. The group of sector lords beside looked at Luo Feng excitedly, as though they were looking at a rare treasure. This group of bandit got along well with each other. They didn't treat their leader with the fear that a normal sector lord would have towards a universe knight, instead treating him with respect like a grandfather. Leader, you killed that foreign race. He even held hands with me. Yuwu seemed a little depressed. That was a foreign race in disguise. Beside, Bei Fa shouted, I'm the real Bei Fa. Got it, Yuwu replied. The hundreds of bandit were in an uproar. Terasha stared at Luo Feng. Her eyes filled with killing intent. Obviously, she was tricked by the Masha clansman Luo Feng arranged earlier. This made her very unhappy. Leaders, how do we deal with this foreign race human? Terasha asked. Immediately, Yuwu, Bei Fa, and the surrounding bandit all looked at the two leaders. Qing Shinko Knight looked at Purple Shueko Knight beside. Purple Shueko Knight smiled. You seem very angry, you decide. Humph. Qing Shinko Knight stared at Luo Feng. We have to slowly deal with him. Terasha, personally escort him, send him to the ice prison. Yes. Wow, ice prison? This foreign race is going to be unlucky. The ice prison is about to open again. The other sector lords all cheered. Luo Feng's expression was ugly. Thinking within, ice prison? If it's as I expected, as long as they don't kill me, they'll definitely send me to the ice prison. HM, I still have a chance. There's no need for my teacher, the primal chaos city leader, to come for now. This region, why was it called the ice prison planet belt? This ice-cold planet, why wasn't it called the ice prison planet or any other name, but the ice prison planet, with the word prison in it? This was because the entire planet had a legendary place that was the ice prison. According to the information Luo Feng had, this ice prison was similar to the seal planet. It was a special large treasure used to suppress the strong. It directly suppressed the strong within, and this treasure was controlled by one of the two universe knights. Go! Terasha and the other absolute warriors of the bandits stared at Luo Feng. Luo Feng didn't resist. He obediently allowed himself to be escorted. What a joke! Terasha and the other two undying bandit were the top 10 of the bandit warriors. Each of their basic body strength was 10 million times that of the sector lord, along with their body amplification, spirit energy amplification, etc. These three were all comparable to True Yin Emperor in strength. This was a special life form. Their foundations were much higher than humans. Plus, these three were the most exceptional of the Undying Bandit. Naturally, they were powerful. The reason why the Masha clansmen escaped earlier, one was because soul attacks were useless against the Masha clansmen and the Masha clansmen's teleportation. Even Truyan Emperor had no way of chasing. Only a universe lord that grasped the entire space laws could chase and kill a teleportation warrior. Within the dark universe, a spaceship was flying slowly, and Sky Array King was standing in the control room of the spaceship. In the world ring of Heaven Array King. Ow! The golden-horned beast's huge body was coiled there, and within the internal world was the Masha clansman. Who? Black-clothed Luo Feng appeared beside. Master, Fu Shui Emperor and the other warriors bowed respectfully. Luckily, I had a trump card. Black-clothed Luo Feng said softly. I knew that the training arranged by the foreign warriors wouldn't be easy, hence my core cannot have any accidents. After all, the moment I fall, even if the primal Chaos City leader teacher reverses time and revives me, I'm afraid I won't be able to have the Star Pagoda and other treasures, and I'll lose the 9 disaster manual. Many plans had one prerequisite to ensure the core's safety. Hence, when a Masha clansman moved, the Earth body separated from the Golden Horned Beast. The Golden Horned Beast brought the core and Sky Formation Emperor and the others in a universe ship flying in the dark universe. My many plans, no matter how they crumble, at least the core is fine. The Earth body has the pearl protecting his soul. He can't be controlled by it. If he were to be attacked, for the sake of the Earth body's many treasures, I can only ask the primal Chaos City leader for help. Black-clothed Luo Feng thought. There's no need now. It seems those two haven't realized I have the treasures. Instead, they want to lock me in the ice prison. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. I recommend 2 books that Tomato is reading. One is Unrivaled Under Heaven. The other is Interstellar Judge. I recommend everyone read them. They're both good books. Chapter 940. The 2 knights obviously didn't know that the one they had captured was only his Earth body. Even though the Earth body had the Wu slaying wings, star map, and pagoda pearls, which were extremely important, if they really forced Luo Feng to ask his primal Chaos City leader teacher to appear, he could easily take the treasures away. The star map and pearl could barely be considered treasures. Even if the primal Chaos City leader found them, he wouldn't take them. Hence Luo Feng still had some confidence within. Only, asking the primal Chaos City leader was a last resort. Unless absolutely necessary, Luo Feng wouldn't do that. Purple High Cow Knights Ice Hell Planet Core. The towering 10,000 kilometers tall Ice Palace. Green High Cow Knight and Purple High Cow Knight strolled side by side within the palace. Actually, I really want to slap that human to death. Green High Cow Knight said seriously. Are you looking to die? What kind of identity was Mountain Traveler? That was one of the strongest in the vast universe. If we were to offend him, even the warriors we know wouldn't be able to protect us. You're looking to die? Don't drag down the thousands of clansmen. Purple High Cow Knight scolded. Green Furry Co laughed. I'm just saying, you see, we're both dignified universe supremacies, and we're even higher ranked amongst the trillions of races in the universe. Yet we insist on putting on an act in front of that human. This was Mountain Traveler's orders, of course we have to follow, and he's given us quite a lot of benefits too. Purple High Cow Knight nodded. Back then, Mountain Traveler ordered us to place this black metal board on any ice hell planet, forbidding it from being placed on our planet, to wait for the alien races to steal it. He also said, the moment the thief is discovered to be a flesh and blood life form, they're not to be killed, instead they are to be locked in the ice hell. Green High Cow Knight creased his eyebrows. That Masha clansman before was an energy life form. I killed it with one slap. However, the mastermind was actually this human. Tell me, why did Mountain Traveler order it like that? Green High Cow Knight said. Needless to say, spending so much effort, it should be to train a warrior. Purple High Cow Knight's eyes gleamed. This human should have been chosen by Mountain Traveler. Nurture disciples? Honorable Qing Fu Ko shook his head. Is there such a ruthless teacher? That mountain passenger clearly knows the rules of my ice prison, yet he still wants to send the person he's grooming into the ice prison? No matter how powerful his disciple is, that mountain traveler should know what kind of experts are imprisoned in my ice prison. Ruthless, Shueko said in a low voice. Perhaps this is a trial. If he can't pass this trial, then this human will die. In any case, it's the mountain traveler's trial that killed him. It has nothing to do with us. Yes, yes. Supremacy Ching Fu Ko nodded immediately. They talked as they walked. But this human is really cunning. Even I was fooled by him. How did you find that black metal plate? Honorable Ching Fu Ko asked curiously. Back then, Mountain Traveler also said that if a non-human race managed to steal the black metal plate without anyone noticing, we would only send them to the ice prison if we caught them. Shueko smiled. Quick, tell me, how did you discover it? Asked Ching Fu Ko. Shueko smiled and said, didn't that Masha clan member escape with the black metal plate? He teleported again and again. He teleported halfway and secretly placed the world ring that was disguised as a rock on a floating mountain. Then, I noticed it. I also noticed that a non-human race member had taken a rock. Then, I followed that non-human race member and finally found that human. After observing for a long time, I confirmed that the human was very likely the mastermind. Only then did I show myself. No, Honorable Ching Fu Ko shook his head. I was chasing after the Masha clan member, but you weren't. Moreover, that Masha clan member teleported again and placed the disguised world ring on the mountain in an instant. When I teleported to that mountain, I didn't even realize it. How did you realize it? Also, how did you have the time to investigate? Honorable Ching Fu Ko smiled mysteriously. Speak, quickly speak. Honorable Ching Fu Ko was very curious. Very simple. Honorable Ching Fu Ko said proudly, I left a small imprint on the black metal plate. No matter where it is, I can sense it. You and I both have a keepsake. I sense that you are constantly changing your position, but the black metal plate didn't move at all. Hence, I teleported there and hid myself. That's how I saw a non-human race member take the ring with the black metal plate. After that, I followed him. You know the result. You, Honorable Ching Fu Ko stared. You actually left an imprint. You left an imprint on the black metal plate. No, Honorable Ching Fu Ko smiled. I've always been curious. Who was the one who made Mountain Guest set up this trap to train himself? Of course I wanted to see it with my own eyes. However, I was worried that we wouldn't even know if he really stole it. Just in case I did it. Mountain Guest didn't forbid us from doing this. Not to mention, Mountain Guest also wants that flesh and blood creature who stole the black metal plate to temper itself in the ice prison. Honorable Ching Fu Ko shook his head and sighed, feeling sad for Luo Feng. He could have stolen it, but because of Honorable Ching Fu Ko's curiosity, he failed. What an unlucky punk. I hope he doesn't die in the ice prison. Honorable Ching Fu Ko shook his head. Anyway, we can't interfere. Whether he lives or dies will depend on his luck. If he dies, it'll be him dying in the Mountain Guest training. It has nothing to do with us. Honorable Ching Fu Ko shook his head. Mountain Guest is a lone wolf in the vast universe. His temper is so bad that even a few huge powers don't want to mess with him. It's indeed true. His temper is really bad. Honorable Ching Fu Ko shook his head. The huge icy hellstar was the lair of Venerable Ching Fu Ko. On the surface of this icy hellstar, there was a towering cylindrical icicle that was more than 800 kilometers thick and tens of thousands of kilometers tall, piercing into the sky. Who? For silhouettes rushed down from the sky. It was Tara Shah and the other two absolute warriors who were escorting Luo Feng. The space around them was completely sealed. Obviously, one of the warriors was maintaining the space seal, preventing this cunning human from teleporting away. What they didn't know was, without the Masha clansman's help, the Earth body really couldn't teleport. That's the ice prison. Luo Feng looked at the huge pillar of ice. A huge energy no weaker than a planet's emanated from it. Right, that's the ice prison. Terasha escorted Luo Feng and said coldly, "You sure are relaxed. About to be locked in the ice prison. I'm afraid you won't be able to come out for 1,000,000,000 years. You might even live in fear and eventually die in there. You actually don't panic at all. Since I've already been caught, what's the point of panicking?" Luo Feng smiled. His core had already been brought out of the Crowflower secret area by the Golden Horned Beast. It was currently resting in a servant's god country. As long as he was summoned, it would be able to teleport to the god country and arrive at the Crowflower secret area. Luo Feng's gaze landed on the distant ice prison. The legend of the ice prison. It was also the biggest legend of the entire ice prison planet. Legend has it that although the two universe venerables of the ice prison starbelt would kill the captured alien races, if they caught some extremely strong or special undying beings, they would be locked up in the ice prison. Over the long years, trillions of eras, who knew how many warriors have been locked in the ice prison? These warriors would naturally grow stronger in the ice prison. In addition, the two universe sovereigns had forced the imprisoned outsiders to kill each other. Killing, cultivating, and being trapped in the ice prison for countless years, this sort of pressure had indeed caused the ice prison to go crazy. As long as I'm not in a desperate situation, there's no need to ask the Primal Chaos City leader for help. Also, on my path to becoming an absolute warrior, I really don't want to ask the Primal Chaos City leader even once. Luo Feng had this thought long ago. For his point of view, being forced to ask the Primal Chaos City leader was a very shameful thing. If he had the ability, he would fight and resist by himself, growing step by step, until he was on par with the Primal Chaos City leader, or even stronger. On this journey, he wouldn't ask the Primal Chaos City leader even once. This was Luo Feng's request for himself. A strong warrior wouldn't give himself an excuse to retreat from the start. Terasha and the other two escorted Luo Feng to the ice prison. "Human." Beside, a blue nightmare bandit said with a sharp voice, "Your strength is not bad. However, the weakest imprisoned in the ice prison back then were Emperor-level Undyings. Without this bit of strength, the leader wouldn't even bother to imprison these aliens in the ice prison. And over the long years, the life and death battles within, let me remind you, if you're afraid of the fear, you should just self-destruct. The darkness and madness within isn't something you can handle." I'm really looking forward to it. Luo Feng smiled. "This is your tag." Terasha casually tossed out a purple and green ice plate with numbers written on it in the common language of the demon race. Luo Feng received the tag. "It represents my identity?" Luo Feng was curious. Thinking within felt a little like the prison tag on Earth. "Go in." Terasha fiercely pushed Luo Feng. "Who?" Luo Feng was immediately pushed into the ice prison, immediately entering the 100 kilometers radius. Immediately, rumble, a terrifying and strong, swallowing energy enveloped Luo Feng, almost like he was in an endless whirlpool. Luo Feng was caught in the swallowing energy, immediately flapping his wings to resist. Don't resist. If you do, then you should know the consequences. Terasha and the other two looked coldly at Luo Feng. "Right." Luo Feng shook his head. This was the territory of two universe supremacies. Those two universe supremacies had teleported here. Then let's go take a look at the legendary ice prison. Luo Feng looked up at the source of the swallowing energy. Within the ice prison, there was already a pitch-black cave. That cave had many layers, almost like the leaves of a fan. Rumble. Luo Feng was fiercely swallowed within. Rumble. Layer after layer of the fan closed. The huge ice pillar became smooth and perfect again, without a trace. Since then, Luo Feng was locked within the ice prison. "Enjoy it, human." Terasha looked coldly at the ice pillar. "Let's go, Terasha. Let's go." Immediately, the three became three beams of light and swiftly rushed into the sky. Chapter 941. This was a vast and endless world of ice and snow. Wah! After Luo Feng was sucked in, he felt a terrifying pressure on his body. It was as if he was being pressed down by a huge mountain. Luo Feng spread his wings and resisted the pressure. He steadily floated in the air and looked down at the endless land of ice and snow. This is ice hell. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. It was almost as though there were tens of millions of invisible blades in the space, causing it to tremble constantly. Indeed, a true treasure, causing the space to tremble constantly. Under such circumstances, there's no way to use the God Country teleportation. Luo Feng had expected this. Any ceiling treasure would be able to suppress God Country teleportation. The God Country teleportation had a harsh requirement, as the space had to be stable. Like during battle, or during energy ripples, one couldn't use the God Country teleportation. I can't teleport too. Luo Feng carefully sensed, discovering that the space ripples within Ice Hell were completely separated from the outside world. Even with the Masha body, I can only teleport within Ice Hell, unable to teleport out. This is similar to the forbidden space in Star Tower. Within the Star Tower, there were countless forbidden spaces. Experts could only teleport within a forbidden space and could not teleport to other forbidden spaces. No God Country teleportation, no teleportation. It was like being pressed down by a huge mountain. This was how Luo Feng felt when he first entered Ice Hell. The only thing that made him happy was he could connect to the virtual universe. Impressive. I've been in Star Tower, Demon Mountain, Primal Universe, Blood River World. Anyway, I can connect to the virtual universe anywhere I've been. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim. This virtual universe was indeed everywhere. Even within true treasures and treasures, it was all connected. Master, the space we're in now is too special. The large scanner is unable to function normally here. The mini scanner can still function normally. Babada's AI reported this to Luo Feng, and Luo Feng nodded. The mini scanner's technology far exceeded the large ones, and it was useful in Ice Hell. The Venerable locked me in the Ice Hell for a long time. It shouldn't be that simple, right? Thought Lin Fan. Luo Feng slowly descended from the sky and landed on the snow. Stepping on the snow, Luo Feng began to walk, every step covering over 1,000 kilometers. I'll take my time to explore this Ice Hell and see why the Green Knight locked me here. Luo Feng walked on the snow, and the footprints he left attracted another great being from Ice Hell. Paw print? What kind of claw print is this? A blurry black shadow landed on the snow. None of the strong ones in Ice Hell should have such a claw mark. Is a newcomer? Ha ha! My chance has come. This Ice Hell is really vast. Luo Feng stopped abruptly and looked around. Because the suppression is too strong, my spirit energy can only cover tens of thousands of miles. However, I can only see the edge of Ice Hell. I've already walked hundreds of thousands of miles, but I still can't see the end of the snow and ice mountains. It was just like how the sealed star, which was the size of a marble, had a sealed space within it. It was just like how a ring could contain an entire world. The ice purgatory was the most important treasure of the blue armored venerate. The space within it was much larger than what it looked like from the outside. Ooh! Luo Feng took a deep breath, the coldness seeping into his chest as he continued forward. They all say that there are many warriors locked up in Ice Hell. I don't believe that I won't meet any. Luo Feng continued forward. Footprints were left in the snow, and every one of them was over 1,000 kilometers apart. A normal person wouldn't be able to track them at all. However, to an absolute warrior, a distance of over 1,000 kilometers was just a single step. Master, sneak attack. The mini scanner swiftly alerted. Rumble. Luo Feng flapped his wings, causing the space to tremble as he rose into the air. A black beam of light streaked past Luo Feng and landed on the snow. Luo Feng looked down from high up in the sky. There was a completely black life form entrenched in the snow. It had an 8 m long body and a saw-like tail that was even longer than its body. It had a pair of extremely long fangs, and its eyes burned with black flames. It stared at Luo Feng, and its entire body was covered in a layer of black scales. Another race, soul-eating beast? Luo Feng was stunned. The soul-eating beast was an extremely rare race in the universe. Like the Golden Horned Beast and the Masha clan, they were all famous for their rarity. This soul-eating beast was comparable to the Masha clan. Such a rare soul-eating beast also had its own natural abilities in two of them. Human, you actually recognize me. A raspy voice resounded from the soul-eating beast. To actually meet a soul-eating beast in Ice Hell? Haha, seems like we are fated to meet. Luo Feng smiled as he descended, stepping on the snow, smiling at the soul-eating beast that was filled with killing intent. Soul-eating beast, I've just entered Ice Hell. I wonder if you can explain the situation here to me. Arrogant and insolent human. The soul-devouring beast shrieked, and with a whoosh, it moved. Fast as lightning. The soul-devouring beast was constantly suppressed in the ice purgatory, so its speed had been greatly reduced. However, the soul-devouring beast's speed was still astonishing. Who? Luo Feng flapped his wings and easily dodged. I'm willing to chat with you. Why fight the moment you arrive? Luo Feng smiled casually. The soul-devouring beast let out a hoarse cry and disappeared into thin air. Teleportation? Luo Feng squinted. Behind Luo Feng, the soul-eating beast appeared and opened its huge mouth to bite at Luo Feng. Luo Feng felt the bite and flapped his wings, allowing the soul-eating beast to bite him. Ka! The soul-eating beast fiercely bit down on the Sha Wu wings. However, it felt like biting on 8G grade metal. Soul Blade. Luo Feng turned to look at the soul-eating beast. His powerful willpower and spirit energy formed a blade shape and slashed at the soul-eating beast's soul with the beast god presence. A very simple soul attack. Even though Luo Feng hadn't studied much in the soul aspect, however, his willpower and spirit energy were indeed strong and precise. Unleashing some intricate illusions may be hard, but unleashing a direct soul attack wasn't hard at all. Following the beast god presence, the soul blade slashed out. Even though it was crude, the beast god presence was after all very high level. Luo Feng's move was no weaker than a pinnacle emperor soul attack. Wong! The soul-eating beast was shocked, as though it was stunned by the attack. Luo Feng waved his left hand. 6 black balls smashed out one after another, smashing into the stunned soul-devouring beast. Without any resistance, the first black ball smashed into the soul-devouring beast, breaking its bones. The second black ball smashed into the soul-devouring beast, causing it to completely explode. The remaining black balls whizzed past, causing the soul-devouring beast to shatter into countless pieces that drifted away. Who? The soul-eating beast actually vanished just like that. Vanished. Luo Feng's expression changed. Without forming a solid body and teleporting, how could it vanish? I didn't even use the Fei Mo poison earlier. To teleport and escape, one had to form a solid body. When a warrior was chopped into pieces, the pieces had no way to teleport and escape. For it to vanish after being chopped into pieces, there was only one situation. That was if the soul-eating beast's body was far away. Then, even if the body was chopped into pieces and the undying energy dispersed, the undying energy would have long been imprinted with the soul-eating beast spirit imprint and would still return to the body. Don't tell me, clone technique. Luo Feng was shocked. This is actually just one of the soul-eating beast's clones. The soul-devouring beast had 2 great innate secret techniques. The first innate secret technique was the extremely terrifying offensive technique soul devouring. The second innate secret technique was the extremely powerful escape technique doppelganger. The doppelganger formed after using the innate secret technique doppelganger. In terms of strength, it was naturally much weaker than the original body. However, the clone at least understood the wonders of the laws. As long as the main body understood the laws, the clone would too. After the sneak attack, Luo Feng continued forward. However, he didn't expect that the soul-eating beast would actually attack him twice more. The second time, the beast used a soul attack. With Luo Feng's terrifying willpower and the beast god howl, he easily blocked it. He didn't even need the help of the Tower Pearl. The third time, the beast used an illusion, but it was still ineffective. Luo Feng's response was the same. He used a star map star and smashed the beast to death. Master, that soul-eating beast has used its clones to attack you time and time again. It's obviously testing your true strength. If it feels that you aren't much of a threat, it'll probably use its true body to attack you. If it feels that you're too strong, it'll carefully avoid you. It's very crafty. Ji Hong said from within the world ring. Master hasn't used his true strength yet. Even the Fei Mo poison didn't work. Hohenheart said. Luo Feng's world ring carried these two warriors. As for the other slaves, they followed the golden horned beast. Hohenheart was a soul master. Ji Hong even carried the ancient clock. When the two worked together, they would definitely be able to change the outcome of the battle. When Luo Feng had initially planned to steal the black metal board, he had naturally considered the consequences if he were to be captured. Hence, he had left behind two powerful helpers for his earth body. After all, even though his earth body was strong, he couldn't burn his godly energy. This was the difference between him and the other warriors. Without burning his godly energy, Luo Feng could easily dominate the other warriors. The moment he did, he would be at a disadvantage. I'll wait and see if its true body shows itself. Luo Feng continued to walk through the snow. He believed that there were other warriors in Ice Hell. From the words of the Green Knight and Allah Shah, it's obvious that Ice Hell is terrifying. Just what is so terrifying about it? Chapter 942. Tens of thousands of km away from Luo Feng, a black silhouette was hiding there. Gagaga, this human doesn't seem to know how to teleport. However, he's very strong. Even though my clone only has a small portion of my strength, he killed it so easily. He's at least at the pinnacle of the Emperor level. I'll let the others chew on this bone first. The black silhouette vanished. Luo Feng continued to walk in the snow. He wasn't in a rush, treating it like he was admiring the scenery. The soul-devouring beast's main body actually didn't come. I only used this move to scare it. It sure is cautious. Luo Feng continued to walk. Arriving in the ice prison, he had already walked close to 10 million kilometers in a straight line. However, he didn't find any other warriors besides the soul-devouring beast. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. He looked at the distant ice mountain. At the peak of the ice mountain, there was actually a silhouette. The two were tens of thousands of km apart. However, with their vision, as long as there were no obstructions, they could easily see each other. That silhouette turned and looked at Luo Feng. He had a huge god body, his entire body covered in feathers. His vertical pupils stared at Luo Feng. It's the Ka-Tu clan, Luo Feng thought. The Card Slaughterer clan was a subsidiary clan of the Demon Alliance. The warriors of the Card Slaughterer clan were known for their coldness and fierceness. When Luo Feng confirmed that the expert standing on the peak of the ice mountain was from the Card Slaughterer clan, he knew that a fight was about to break out. Hua! The distant Ka-Tu clan warrior immediately became a beam of light, leaving a resplendent trail in mid-air as he flew towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood on the snowy ground and raised his head to look at the Ka-Tu clan warrior charging over. He waited quietly. The distance between the two was getting closer and closer. The Ka-Tu clan warrior's eyes were filled with endless killing intent and madness. This caused Luo Feng's to reveal killing intent as well. Why do the warriors imprisoned in the ice prison attack other warriors the moment they see them? 1. The Ka-Tu clan warrior immediately unleashed his space lock. The ripples in the surrounding space were completely suppressed. This caused both parties to be unable to teleport. This caused Luo Feng to laugh. The Ka-Tu clan warrior before him probably didn't know how to teleport. In truth, he himself didn't know how to teleport. There was no need for him to unleash his space lock. Human die. The Ka-Tu clan warrior roared. If I don't die, then you die. Boom. A terrifying energy exploded from the Ka Slaughterer warrior, shocking the originally calm Luo Feng, igniting his undying body. This is crazy. Even if this expert from the Ka Butcher clan really wants to fight to the death with me, there's no need to burn his divine body without knowing my true strength, right? Burning one time consumes a lot of energy. It will take a long time to recover. Xiao. Luo Feng's wings flapped, swiftly dodging the Ka two clan's close combat attacks. Expert from the Ka Slaughter clan? I don't know you at all. You don't even know my strength. Why did you ignite your divine body the moment you arrived? Even if you want to kill me, if I'm weak, wouldn't you have burned your god body for nothing? Luo Feng communicated. Hua. The sharp blood-colored blade light sliced through the sky. Luo Feng once again dodged far away. Xiao, 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 xiao. Luo Feng used the Wu slaying wings to dodge time and time again. The Katu clan warrior before him was at least at the pinnacle of emperor level. The moment he ignited his god energy, Luo Feng really couldn't fight him head-on. It was better to dodge and let his opponent expend more energy. Even after I ignited my god energy, I can't dodge as fast as you. The Katu clan warrior was clearly mad. Human, if you're strong enough, fight me head-on. Even if I die, let me die head-on. Katu clan warrior, do you think I'm stupid? Luo Feng easily dodged time and time again. No matter how valiant the Ka slaughtering clan warrior was when he ignited his godly energy, he was simply unable to use his strength. He couldn't even touch Luo Feng. If the Ka slaughtering clan warrior knew of the Blade River King's reputation, he probably wouldn't have done such a foolish thing. However, it was obvious that among the warriors locked in the ice prison, only a few knew of the Blade River Emperor. The Katu clan warrior suddenly raised his head and laughed loudly. His laughter was like a shockwave that spread in all directions. He stood in mid-air and didn't chase Luo Feng. He just laughed like that. The Katu clan warrior laughed madly. Even though he stood in mid-air and didn't chase Luo Feng, what shocked Luo Feng was the Katu clan warrior was still igniting his god energy and didn't stop. Katu clan warrior. Luo Feng spoke. This is fate, this is fate. The Katu clan warrior raised his head and laughed. Nongzong grew up all the way. I was a genius when I was young. I grew all the way until I was named emperor. I was full of mettle because I took too many risks and was trapped in the ice prison. Once I was trapped in the ice prison, I would never be able to get out. Countless eras were wasted in the ice prison. Over the years, my clan has probably forgotten about me. My loved ones are long dead. How many of my friends are still alive? I can't get out. I've wasted so much time and had to fight with you guys for a chance of survival. I haven't dared to relax for a moment in a trillion eras. I can't take it anymore. Old blind, soul eater, all of you can struggle. I want to accompany you. I'll be leaving first. The Katu clan warrior's voice resounded in all directions. The Katu clan warrior looked at the shocked Luo Feng. Human, I originally wanted to die in my madness. I didn't think I'd get the chance. You're giving up just like that? Luo Feng asked. So what if I don't give up? Humans, being trapped in the ice prison is the greatest torture. The Katu clan warrior shook his head. Unless your clan's super being values you and personally comes to take you away. Otherwise, there's no hope of getting out. My clan, they've probably forgotten about me. Let's go. I'm free. The Katu clan warrior exploded his god body. Immediately, it was like a sun was born. Endless energy rushed in all directions. The Katu clan warrior didn't care about the human beside him. He was already dying. As for whether the human died from his explosion, he couldn't be bothered to think too much about it. If he died, then he died. Even if he died, it was probably the human's release. Deep within the ice mountain, the soul-eater beast was entrenched there. When it heard the voice that spread throughout the ice prison through the burning god energy, its ferocious eyes were slightly stunned. A sliver of sadness flashed past. Old friend, you're giving up just like that? If you want to die, why not by my hands? That way, I'll have a higher chance of getting out. The soul-eater beast's hoarse voice reverberated in the cave. Thousands of kilometers underground, in a cave, a figure was entrenched. It had a human-like head. Its eyes were closed as it sighed softly. He's free. deep within the frozen ocean, in a beautiful palace. Another idiot has given up. Good, good, good. The more people give up, the more people die. Then, the higher my chance of getting out. All of you die, you bunch of idiots. In the entire ice prison, when the super experts who had been imprisoned for countless years learned of the death of the Slaughterer clan's experts, they were either sad, mocking, or indifferent. Their reactions were different, but no one was shocked. This was because this kind of death had happened many times before. In mid-air, the air currents were chaotic. Luo Feng, who had his wings wrapped around him, slowly opened them. Floating in mid-air, Luo Feng looked at the world ring, weapon, armor, etc. These were the items left behind by the 2 clan warrior. Suicide? To be able to train to become an emperor, which of them didn't have extremely strong willpower? Which of them didn't have strong beliefs? They were actually forced to suicide. Luo Feng muttered. The words of the 2 clan warrior reverberated in his ears. It made Luo Feng understand why the 2 clan warrior wanted to die. The 2 clan is a weak foreign race. Even if the demon race was here, they wouldn't be able to contact their race. Not to mention that the 2 clan is just a subsidiary race of the demon race. Luo Feng said softly. They don't have the virtual universe, so they can't contact them. They can only endure endless loneliness. Killing is the main theme of the ice prison. Countless years, always alone, always in this ice prison. Unable to leave, unable to contact the race. Always killing, always fighting. 1 year, 100 years, 10,000 years, endless eras finally collapsing. Luo Feng sighed within. This was the power of time and loneliness. In front of time, even an undying emperor would crumble one day if he was always alone. Just what is going on? Luo Feng was indeed shocked by the 2 clan warrior's suicide. He no longer had the patience to walk slowly. He immediately became a beam of light and flew at his maximum speed in mid-air. Chill! A beam of light flew across the sky. Flying in mid-air, Luo Feng recalled and pondered. The more he thought, the more shocked he was. Back when I accepted the life and death inheritance, I was able to withstand it. Even though it was only 6,000 years, every second was harder than a year. However, that was because I still had my own will. If I was like that 2 clan warrior and knew his loved ones had died, would I have persevered in the ice prison for trillions of years? Luo Feng quietly questioned himself. Would he have persevered? Yes, definitely. Luo Feng nodded. He would definitely get out and think of a way to reverse time and revive his loved ones. If he couldn't revive them, he would have to kill Green Beast Cone Knight for revenge. Because it was Green Beast Cone Knight who robbed him of the time he had with his loved ones. Strength. Green Beast Cone Knight is strong. Hence he can lock up many warriors and treat them as a game. Luo Feng thought. I'm afraid that if any of these warriors become Universe Knights, then Green Beast Cone Knight would immediately eliminate them. Luo Feng flew towards the end of the land and skies. Below him was endless snow and endless ice mountains. Finally, Luo Feng saw that transparent, huge ice tablet. The ice tablet was majestic, and on it was engraved demon words. No wonder. Luo Feng looked at the words and muttered, "What a vicious green beast Cone Knight." 2 chapters completed. Today's 2 chapters are late. Saturday will be added. I'm begging for your monthly votes. The double vote event is in its last 2 days. If you have votes, please hurry and vote for Tomato. Tomato, thanks. Chapter 943. The transparent ice tablet had demon language carved on it. It spoke of the only chance of survival in the ice prison. Since the last great massacre, there are already 12,000 foreign race undyings locked up in the ice prison. Every one of them has a tag. As long as one is able to gather 10,000 tags, he can safely leave the ice prison. The others who fail will all be killed. This is a great massacre. There was already a great massacre before. A human warrior managed to safely leave the ice prison. Alien races. This is your only chance of survival. If you want to leave, you'll have to fight and steal the tags of the other warriors. Only one of you will be able to leave. Every word was filled with terrifying god energy. The pressure was like a huge wave that crashed into the surroundings. Even the knight himself couldn't make Luo Feng yield, much less the words left behind. What a vicious green mantis knight! Luo Feng muttered, giving the prisoners a sliver of hope, yet completely cutting off their escape routes. 12,000 alien undyings, yet only one has a chance of leaving. The rest will all die. The strong are all unwilling to yield to fate. They will struggle. They will fight. Hence, there will be battles and battles. There will be schemes and plots. There will always be failures and suicides. Luo Feng shook his head. Venerable Zi Fengko and Venerable Qing Fengko were imprisoned by Venerable Zi Fengko and Venerable Qing Fengko, who were either Regis or Undying, who were captured in the frozen Hellstar Belt over countless years, or those with special methods. Most likely, any expert who had a strong background or was valued by the entire race would have already been taken away by the super existences of the race. The clan has forgotten about them. They can only struggle to decide the only victor. Luo Feng sighed. I wonder if the only one that can leave, has he really managed to leave, or the moment he leaves, he'll be killed by Green Mantis Knight. The ice prison couldn't hold the true, absolute geniuses. Like Kadi, like Luo Feng, like the Seven Blade Emperors, like Life Destruction Emperor, these absolute geniuses of their races all had emergency methods to call for help. The absolute beings of their races, some universe lords would personally come and bring them away. How would Green Mantis Knight and Purple Mantis Knight dare to go against the universe lord? Teacher Mountain Passenger, Luo Feng thought, you made me come to the Ice Hell planet to steal the black metal board. That was already an extremely dangerous task. Taking a risk doesn't have much of a use for training. It's not like you. I'm afraid that this ice prison is the place where you train me. Let me feel the struggle of a powerhouse. Let me clearly understand the most basic rule of the universe. The strong eat the weak. Luo Feng thought. Luo Feng stood silently before the huge ice tablet. And about 70,000 kilometers away from Luo Feng, Chi, a transparent leaf, slowly peeked out from the snow. That leaf was heading towards Luo Feng. Human. It's a human, the only human in the ice prison. The human definitely has an artifact that connects to the virtual universe, and it's very possible that they have an anonymous connection. The warrior in the depths of the snowy land was instantly excited. The soul-devouring beast from before was too cautious and wasn't willing to fight with Luo Feng for the time being. The dead Katu clan warrior was also looking for death. Anonymous account, virtual universe. Humanity's virtual universe. The powerful being in the depths of the snowy land could not suppress his anticipation. It was too lonely in the icy prison. The anonymous account censors of the humans could also be used by them. In the icy prison, it was definitely a treasure that many powerful beings would fight over because it could help them get rid of their loneliness. Kill him. I want to connect to the virtual universe. A blurry 80 tall, transparent silhouette fiercely appeared from the snowy land. Following closely, it teleported and vanished. Luo Feng stood silently before the huge ice tablet. Behind him appeared a huge 80 tall, almost like a 20 to 30-story building. It was a completely transparent life form. The life form's body was filled with leaves. Every leaf seemed to be made of glass. Its thick vines were grabbing onto a very long black chain. Walala. The black chain was like a venomous snake dancing fiercely as it wrapped around Luo Feng. Luo Feng's wings flapped, leaving behind a twisting trajectory in midair. He had already flashed behind the life form. The chain didn't wrap around Luo Feng. Instead, it smashed into the snowy land. The snowy land shook and a huge chasm was formed. However, the ice tablet ahead was not damaged at all. Human. The transparent life form roared. No matter how fast you run, it's useless. Who? The black chain faintly carried with it a black glow. At the same time, its speed was raised to its maximum. For a moment, Luo Feng felt as though there were countless chain images in front of him. This made Luo Feng admit that when the opponent completely unleashed his power, His flying speed was indeed a level lower than the opponent's weapon. Luo Feng's left palm produced 6 glowing purple black balls. He waved it casually. Howl! In mid-air, the 6 black balls had countless golden engravings on them. Immediately, the origin laws of the universe were activated. In an instant, a 100m long beast god silhouette appeared in mid-air. It roared and waved its right claw at the transparent life form. The transparent life form didn't dare be careless. It controlled the black chains to block. Pong! The beast god's right claw slammed fiercely into the black chains. It immediately sent them flying and crashing into the distant snowy land, causing the ground to crack and the chains to sink deep into the ground. Howl! The beast god roared. It immediately slammed its claw towards the transparent life form. Shwa! The transparent life form vanished and dodged the claw. The transparent life form appeared behind Luo Feng again. Under the countless transparent leaves, a thick arm grabbed towards Luo Feng. Space Lock. Luo Feng activated the Space Lock arm on his arm guard. The ripples in the vast space around him immediately stopped. The words of the Yinji continent's natives appeared faintly in midair. At the same time, Luo Feng flapped his wings and used the bright moon strategy. His wings were like blades, whistling through the air. The transparent life form only felt a peculiar energy slicing through his arm. Hua! A huge transparent arm fell from midair and landed on the snowy ground. Die! In the distance, Luo Feng stood in midair and looked at the transparent life form. The beast god silhouette was roaring and rushing towards the life form. The transparent life form roared and wanted to drill into the ground to escape. Simultaneously, it waved its chains to stop the beast god. However, Luo Feng's absolute willpower and spirit energy was completely comparable to the pinnacle of an emperor level. Along with the star map's power, even the pinnacle of an emperor-level warrior would be completely suppressed, much less this transparent life form that was only at the pinnacle of emperor level. Punk! The beast god once again slapped away the black chains, after which its thick right claw grabbed downwards from mid-air. Sila! It grabbed into the transparent life form's body. 6 black balls covered in Fame Mo's poison enter its body. No! The transparent life form let out a terrified cry. Its strength was the weakest amongst the survivors in the ice prison. However, its survivability was extremely strong. Firstly, it could teleport. Secondly, its body was huge. Even if it desperately burned its god energy, it could still last longer than most of the other life forms. However, at this time, the 6 black balls destroyed half of its body the moment they pierced through. Shio! 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 The 6 black balls became 6 beams of light and flew back to Luo Feng. They landed in his palm and vanished. Human. The transparent life form looked at Luo Feng. You should know that your body has been depleted by half, Luo Feng said. Within, he was shocked at the strong life force of the transparent life form. After all, the 6 poison balls used against the pinnacle of an emperor-level warrior back then would consume about 30% of his body. And against the weaker pinnacle, it only consumed about 50%. You only have 10% of your strength left. You're definitely not my match. Luo Feng looked at the transparent life form. The transparent life form stared at Luo Feng in the snow. Human, if you have anything to say, just say it. I admit, with the space lock, my speed is not as fast as yours. I can't escape, and my strength is far from yours. Everything is under your control. However, you must understand, there aren't many in the ice prison who are afraid of death. If you force me, I'll choose to self-destruct. I've just seen one self-destruct. Luo Feng smiled indifferently. Don't rush to self-destruct. It doesn't pose a threat to me. I have something to ask you now. If you answer honestly, I can spare your life. Spare me? The transparent life form couldn't believe it. I'm a man of my word. Luo Feng slowly descended from mid-air and landed in the snow. At the same time, he said, I've already given you the chance. Don't miss it. Human, ask away. The transparent life form said. What life form are you? Of the trillions of races in the universe, there aren't many I don't know. Luo Feng asked directly. He was really curious about this. With his vast experience, there was actually a life form he didn't recognize. If it was a special life form, it would be fine. However, in battle, it didn't seem like it was a special life form. I'm from the Zhangjiang clan. The transparent life form said. A plant life form. However, when I was adventuring in the universe secret region, my life form mutated and became like this. Mutated? Luo Feng was shocked. Actually, using the Blood River crystal to become a black warrior, the Blood River energy would cause the bloodline genes to change. His body form would change. This, too, was a form of mutation. Just like the 9 Calamities manual, the evolution of the genes was also a form of mutation. However, the 9 Calamities manual was even more perfect. From the outside, one couldn't see any changes. Let me ask you again. Why did you come to kill me without any confidence? Luo Feng asked. Human. The Zhangjiang clan life form said solemnly. Even though the majority of those in the ice prison have a thirst for life, the long lifespan has caused many of them to lose their cautiousness. Deep within, they may have a thirst for death. Hence, when they meet strangers, they don't even want to probe their strength. Instead, they'll just kill. Success is good. Failure is a form of release. Don't compare the way things are done in the outside world to the ice prison. In the ice prison, the 5 tycoons are all very strong. There are also many other beings. Some are special life forms with tyrannical strength. They can live for countless years. Emperor Pinnacles like us are the bottom. We have no chance at all. It's just that we can't accept it and continue to struggle. The Zhangjiang clan life form looked at Luo Feng. As for me coming to kill you, it's because I want to obtain an anonymous sensor. I want to use my consciousness to sense the virtual universe. I want to feel the outside world. Consciousness sensor? Luo Feng was shocked. Loneliness. Struggling between life and death. Not for 10,000 years or 100 million years, but for endless eras with no end in sight. To be able to enter the virtual universe. How extravagant is that? The Zhangjiang clan life form looked at Luo Feng. Chapter 944. Luo Feng nodded as he listened. He could understand these warriors that had been locked up for countless eras long to enter the virtual universe. Just like how even though he was roaming the universe, through the virtual universe, he was able to frequently meet his family and reunite. The virtual universe was 100% virtual. It made Luo Feng feel like it was real. He believed these warriors had the same desire. Do you have an anonymous number sensor? The Zhangjiang clan life form suddenly asked. Luo Feng was stunned. You let me enter the virtual universe. You let me interact with the outside world. I'm willing to do anything for you. The Zhangjiang clan life form said. I don't. Luo Feng shook his head. The Zhangjiang clan life form's transparent face was filled with disappointment and despair. Luo Feng, however, wasn't soft-hearted at all, because he was clear he definitely couldn't reveal the fact that he had an anonymous number sensor. The moment it got out, he would become the public enemy of the entire ice prison. The warriors of the ice prison would team up to deal with him. Luo Feng naturally wasn't that stupid. I'll ask you again. Luo Feng looked at the tall Zhangjiang clan life form. You all believe, as long as you gather 10,000 tags, you can leave? We believe, of course we believe. The Zhangjiang clan life form's aura grew much stronger. Qingwen Konai said publicly in the distant past, he wouldn't play any tricks on us. What's more, other than believing, we have no other choice. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Over the countless eras, what's the situation in the ice prison? How many warriors are still alive? How strong are they? Slaughter. Schemes. Scheming and plotting. For that sliver of hope, they're willing to do anything. The Zhangjiang clan life form let out a piercing laugh. Human, the warriors of the ice prison are much more ruthless and crazy than those of the outside world. Some are even willing to perish together. Luo Feng recalled the card slaughter warrior from before that self-destructed. That warrior indeed wanted to kill Luo Feng, even going so far as to perish together with him. It was a pity he couldn't even touch Luo Feng. Eventually, he self-destructed. not caring if Luo Feng was nearby or if he was in danger. As for strength, under extreme pressure, the strong can still unleash their full potential. The Zhangjiang clan life form said, from the countless eras till now, there are still about 860 survivors. About 860? Luo Feng sighed within. It seemed like over 11,000 foreign undyings had fallen. All of them have been forced to their limits. For example, those with powerful bloodlines have an advantage. Among the 860 or so formidable martial artists, peak stage Kinkenferd and high-level Kinkenferd martial artists are considered the weakest. The high-level Kinkenferd martial artists can only hide and do not dare to fight. All of them are very good at escaping. As for peak stage Kinkenferd God Kings, they dare to come out and fight. These were all at the bottom. There were about 800 of them. There were about 50 peak-level king-ranked formidable martial artists. There are also 10 who are close to becoming invincible Regis, as well as 5 who are truly invincible Regis, said the Zhangjiang life form. Let me show you something. With that, the Zhangjiang tribe life form waved its huge transparent arm, and a huge chunk of ice fell from the sky and smashed into the snowy ground. Luo Feng looked. The ice block was about 10 meters tall, with names and simple introductions written on it in demon race characters. This is the ranking. The ranking of the experts in the ice prison. The Zhangjiang life form sighed. It's too lonely and boring in the ice prison. I can't even focus on training, as I can get ambushed at any time. After so many years, the ice prison ranking is one of the things that has piqued our interest. This is a ranking made by one of the 5 tycoons, Sky Wolf, according to the strength of the warriors, from 1st to 863, from highest to lowest. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. How can one's strength be divided so clearly? If one's strength is equal, it's hard to say who wins or loses in battle. Of course we understand. However, the ranking made by Sky Wolf is still very trustworthy. It's also based on the battles in the ice prison. The Zhangjiang life form exclaimed. There's no hope of getting out of the ice prison. To be able to make into the top 100 or even the top 50, it's considered an improvement. Don't you think it's funny? We've been so lonely here, we've come to value this ranking. The Zhangjiang life form laughed. That huge godly body was slightly trembling. Luo Feng looked at the rankings on the huge ice block. You can defeat me, but the terrifying warriors in the ice prison are really strong. Whether it's the 5 tycoons or the 10 emperors, they're all not to be trifled with. The Zhangjiang life form said. And as a newcomer, you'll definitely be ambushed time and time again. You'll have to experience slaughter after slaughter, unless you can defeat an emperor limit and prove your strength. Otherwise, your days of battle will be endless. Luo Feng nodded. You can leave. Luo Feng said. You let me go? The Zhangjiang life form couldn't help but ask. If you don't leave, I'll change my mind. Luo Feng looked at him. Human, I advise you not to be kind in the ice prison. Otherwise, your outcome will be tragic. The Zhangjiang life form's voice resounded in mid-air. Simultaneously, he immediately teleported away. Luo Feng had long removed the space lock. Luo Feng looked at the ice block on the snow ground. With a glance, he memorized the detailed information carved on it, after which he flipped his hand and kept it in his world ring. As for the warning that Zhangjiang life form gave him before he left, Luo Feng didn't care at all. A strong warrior's style wouldn't change just because of a few words of advice. Card Slaughterer life form, ranked 732. Zhangjiang life form, ranked 611. Soul Devouring Beast, ranked 102. Luo Feng muttered to himself. The Card Slaughterer and Zhangjiang life forms that he defeated were indeed at the bottom. The Soul Devouring Beast, on the other hand, was ranked higher due to its natural abilities. Through the information on the ice block, Luo Feng had a clear understanding of the ice prison. In the center of the ice prison was the Ice Sea. With the Ice Sea as the center, the entire ice prison was divided into 5 regions. Ice Sea, Eastern Ice Prison, Western Ice Prison, Northern Ice Prison, and Southern Ice Prison. Those 5 Leviathans all consciously occupied their respective regions. They definitely wouldn't easily clash. Of the 5 Leviathans, 3 of them are unique life forms. One is from the Tsu Dark race, and the other is the Demon Emperor Skywolf. Luo Feng thought. The Golden Horn Beast's starting point was 10 times higher than a human's. Both were at the pinnacle of the Emperor level. A human's godly body had 100,000 Sector Lord strength, while the Golden Horn Beast had 1,000,000 Sector Lord strength. And the unique life forms, even the weakest was comparable to the Golden Horn Beast. What's more, these 3, the weakest was 60 times that of a human, and the strongest was 200 times that of a human. Not mentioning the other amplification techniques, just the 3 that reached the pinnacle of the Emperor level. The strongest had a godly body that was 20,000,000 times that of a Sector Lord strength. How powerful was that? The Tsu Dark race was a rare race in the universe. They were as rare as the Masha race. They were naturally 10 times that of a human. The Demon Emperor Sky Wolf had the weakest foundations. They were naturally 6 times that of a human. Anyway, these 5 Leviathans all had a high starting point. Along with the countless years of oppression and torture, they all had terrifying powers. There were a total of 3 unique life forms that survived the ice prison. These 3 have all become Leviathans. Luo Feng sighed. Unique life forms are indeed heaven-defying. Humanity's foundations are weak. To reach the level of an invincible emperor, it's much harder. Luo Feng felt more and more the weakness of humanity in the universe. Humanity's natural talents were actually very average in the universe. However, this seemingly average human race actually gave birth to several absolute beings that shook the universe. Luo Feng built an underground dwelling in the snow beside the ice ocean. He would temporarily train here. According to the simple introduction on the rankings, these 5 Leviathans are all comparable to my teacher, True Yin Emperor. Luo Feng thought. Right now, I don't even have the ability to get the 10,000 tags. That's fine too. I'll treat this as a training session for me. I'll defeat them one by one and leave the ice prison. As for whether Green Turtle Knight really releases the prisoners or not, that has nothing to do with me. If he dares to play any tricks, I'll ask my Primal Chaos City leader teacher to act. I'll make him suffer a double loss. Luo Feng closed his eyes and didn't think anymore. While the other warriors of the ice prison were yearning to leave, Luo Feng treated this as a training ground for himself. In the snow, a 3-meter-tall, fiery red expert with ferocious bone spikes all over his body and a scarlet mask on his face was striding forward. A powerful law domain spread out in a 10,000-kilometer radius around him, turning into an endless sea of fire. Wherever he passed, the snow was incinerated into lakes, and even the lakes were boiling. However, as he passed, the boiling lakes swiftly froze under the effect of the ice prison and became snow, almost as though nothing had changed. Footprints. Unfamiliar footprints. The warrior with bone spikes all over his body said with a voice that echoed within his chest, "A stranger has arrived in the ice prison. What an arrogant punk. He actually dares to leave his footprints and not erase them. Is this confidence? Ha!" He strode forward. Wherever he passed, the snow would turn into boiling lakes. The 10,000 kilometers origin law domain was all within his scanning range. Finally, he neared the ice ocean. Rumble. From the edge of the boiling lake, a silver silhouette suddenly rushed into the sky, after which it spread its silver wings and floated in mid-air, looking down. His entire body covered in bone spikes and wearing a scarlet mask, the barbaric warrior looked up at Luo Feng and grinned. His one huge eye gleamed with a heart-chilling madness. Human. White Bone Emperor, one of the 10 emperors, rank 11. Luo Feng looked down at the newcomer, information flashing through his mind. The 5 tycoons, 10 emperors, representing the 15 strongest warriors of the ice prison. Under the circumstances where the 5 tycoons didn't easily appear, the 10 emperors were practically invincible. Human. There were roars. The madness was getting thicker and thicker. White Bone Emperor. Luo Feng's voice resounded from high above. His killing intent and battle intent emanated. Chapter 945. The countless years of killing in the ice prison made the lower life forms like the Tsang-jiang clan and Ka-tu clan unable to see any hope, even having thoughts of dying. However, the soul-devouring beast didn't have much of a chance to die. As for the arrogant and crazy 10 great emperors that ruled the ice prison, they were all filled with ambition. Their strength may be weaker than the 5 tycoons, but they still had hope of catching up. Naturally, they had a sliver of hope of leaving. Battle. They madly battled, absorbing experience and improving themselves. Human, you actually didn't flee against me. Very good. White Bone Emperor's killing intent emanated, staring at Luo Feng. 10 great emperors. Your name is known far and wide. The other warriors in the ice prison would indeed flee against you. However, as for me, if you don't defeat me, how could I possibly flee? Luo Feng floated in mid-air. Once you defeat me, I'll naturally flee quickly. When that time comes, you won't have a chance to flee. White Bone Emperor's voice was low, resounding within his chest. The moment his words landed, the surrounding space froze. The space was locked. Both parties had no way to teleport away. Rumble. White Bone Emperor immediately vanished from where he stood, his speed becoming a blurry beam of light, immediately arriving before Luo Feng in midair. Hua! Luo Feng's wings flapped and drew a long arc in midair. Simultaneously, 8 black balls floated in his left palm. With a casual toss, the origin law engravings on the 8 black balls were immediately activated. Countless golden threads intertwined, and in an instant, an extremely domineering beast god appeared in the sky and land. White Bone Emperor's claw tore through thin air, after which he turned to look at the distant Luo Feng and the beast god, laughing softly. What speed? You're actually a controller. Very good. How? The beast god roared and flew through the air. Ha ha ha! White Bone Emperor laughed maniacally, rushing straight towards the beast god. Punk! A dazzling and blurry whip shadow collided with the White Bone King's claw. The resulting shockwave tore the surrounding snow and ice apart. The White Bone King was sent flying by the recoil force. The beast deity also paused for a moment, and his figure blurred for a moment before solidifying again. The surrounding snow swiftly recovered. White Bone Emperor stood in the distance, looking up at Luo Feng. Human, I admit now, you deserve to see my true battle form. His voice was like thunder, reverberating throughout the world. At the same time, a terrifying aura erupted from the White Bone King's body. The ferocious bone spikes on his body shrank back into his body. At the same time, his divine body grew taller and the color of his divine body changed. From a fiery red, it slowly turned white. The moment the transformation stopped, the White Bone King's entire body became silvery white like platinum. Layers of twisted bones formed an armor on the surface of his body, and a powerful aura filled the air. White Bone King, is this your battle form? Very good. In the distant sky, Luo Feng's eyes were terrifyingly sharp. Take this. The limit of will burst forth. His strong willpower guided his consciousness and controlled his psyche power. The beast deity in midair became clearer. Then, it roared and charged towards the White Bone King. The White Bone King stood there confidently. When the beast deity's tail whipped over like lightning, the White Bone King suddenly waved his right claw. Rip! The beast god's right claw tore and twisted the space around it, but the beast god retracted his tail and lashed out again. Crafty bastard! The White Bone King roared as he charged forward. His claws instantly turned into phantoms. The gauntlets on his claws were the only treasure he had on him. If there was a difference between the experts in the ice prison and the experts in the outside world, it would be that the number of treasures of the same level was much less. Just like the White Bone King, if he was in the outside world, he would usually have a few treasures. However, in the ice prison, he only had one. However, because of the life and death struggles in the ice prison, the endless pressure, it made the White Bone King madly research on this pair of claws. It had long pushed its power to an extreme level. Even though it was just one treasure, the power it could unleash was no less than the Xian Tomb Emperor, and the other warriors outside had multiple treasures. Pung, 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 pung. The White-Bone King charged towards the beast deity. Simultaneously, his claws became countless blurs. It was ridiculously fast, tearing and attacking. Pung! The beast deity's tail was finally torn apart. It immediately crumbled. The 8 black balls were all knocked away by that claw. How tyrannical! In midair, Luo Feng watched as the White-Bone King charged about in his battle form, using his crazy claws to actually destroy the beast deity. He couldn't help but be shocked. This White-Bone King's battle strength was comparable to the Black Razor Emperor's. Even this crazy battle form was much more terrifying. So, at the same time as the White-Bone King destroyed the beast deity, he rushed towards Luo Feng. Human die. Hua! Luo Feng's wings flapped. In mid-air, another twisting and turning appeared. Luo Feng had already escaped far away. White-Bone King, your strength is strong. I respect you. I'm not your match now. I'll leave first. Next time, we'll fight again. His voice resounded in mid-air. Luo Feng had already escaped far away. In mid-air, the White-Bone King stopped. Looking at Luo Feng's insane speed, he couldn't help but roar in rage. His roar caused the land and skies to tremble. After which, he stopped and looked at Luo Feng's fleeing silhouette. This human's instantaneous speed is amazing. Even the 5 tycoons don't have such speed when fleeing. Looks like our ice prison has another absolute warrior. Even though the White-Bone King had a short battle with Luo Feng, he could instantly tell that Luo Feng's battle strength was stronger than normal emperors. However, his instantaneous speed was the #1 in the ice prison. Such a human. His threat was no less than the 10 emperors. Haha, interesting. The ice prison is getting more interesting. White-Bone King wasn't angry. Instead, he was happy. After a long life in the ice prison, he didn't like the dry and boring ice prison. Occasionally, special warriors would appear in the ice prison. Only then would it be interesting. After Luo Feng escaped from the space lock, he drilled into the depths of the snow. Following which, Extreme Rainbow Emperor appeared and immediately teleported Luo Feng to the depths of the eastern ice prison. Within the depths of the snow, he easily built an underground dwelling. I've still underestimated the ice prison warriors. Luo Feng sat in a chair holding a glass of wine. As he drank, he recalled the battle. I thought, when these warriors were locked up in the ice prison, most of them weren't that strong. Many of them grew slowly over countless years. I thought they didn't have any powerful treasures. Even if they did, only the strongest few would have 1 or 2. But I was wrong. If one treasure is used well, it wouldn't be any weaker than having 10. Luo Feng thought. The treasures the warriors used in battle, even if they had 8 or 10, they would have to go all out during battle. Naturally, they could only use one attack treasure at a time. And the ice prison warriors are different from the outside world. The pressure in the ice prison is even greater. The pressure is even more intense. They've always been working hard to improve themselves. If they get a treasure, they'll definitely study it thoroughly and unleash its power to its fullest. Luo Feng thought. Even though the warriors of the outside world will study them too after they get them, without such pressure, why would they study them so crazily? White-Bone King. In terms of body foundation, I feel that he's only at the pinnacle of an emperor. However, he has treasures, and his claw techniques are incomparably suited for them. Unleashing them to their fullest, claw techniques, movement, they work together perfectly, almost flawless. Luo Feng believed that this should be White-Bone King's own creation. Because learning from other warriors' techniques, it was very hard to reach such a perfect level. Luo Feng thought for a while and nodded. The ice prison warriors placed more emphasis on themselves. They could unleash even more power from their treasures. The warriors of the outside world had more treasures and more techniques. This was the difference between the two. I was wrong. Ever since I comprehended the first form of the Bright Moon technique and left Primal Chaos City, I haven't been in a rush to study it. Luo Feng sighed. However, after seeing White-Bone King today, I finally understand the importance of one's own strength. And an absolute art has to be paired with an attack treasure. My supreme treasure, the star diagram, is very powerful. I should quickly create a technique to complement the star diagram. Bright Moon Technique, a blade technique, the Wu Killer Wings battle technique. After all, Luo Feng's strongest battle strength, the Golden Horn Beast, walked the close combat path, and having the Wu Killer Wings couldn't be wasted. Hence, he couldn't slack off on creating the Bright Moon Technique. However, Luo Feng still needed another set of techniques, a set of techniques for Spirit Reader controllers to use in battle. Let's begin. Treasures, genes, amplification techniques, absolute arts, both external and internal. Luo Feng thought. Externally, I'm already strong enough. I'm temporarily unable to improve. In the ice prison, I'll strengthen internally, strengthening my own strength. With an absolute art that complements the star map will be able to unleash even more power. Star map was Luo Feng's most suitable treasure for battle. The Pagoda Pearl, Star Map, and the Wu Killer Wings, even though they were all treasures, barely making it past the threshold of the treasures, the three were different. The Wu Killer Wings were more for escaping, the Pagoda Pearl for guarding the soul, the Star Map for attacking. A Wu Killer Wings that was mainly used for escaping, Luo Feng's battle strength wasn't that great. However, the Star Map was originally used for attacking. Its power was incomparably strong. If used well, it would be even more terrifying. After all, even among the emperors and invincibles in the universe, how many of them had attack treasures? Luo Feng began his meditation in the depths of the snow. His consciousness connected to the virtual universe, experimenting time and time again with his own battle techniques. He didn't need to simulate the star map. He only needed to create a spirit weapon control technique and create a similar spirit weapon. He's actually placing importance on the spirit weapon. The Primal Chaos City leader was providing opponents for Luo Feng to fight against. He was curious within. Before Luo Feng used a blade, now he switched to a spirit weapon. However, the Primal Chaos City leader wasn't in a rush to criticize Luo Feng, because he was very clear. As long as Luo Feng didn't lose out, lecturing him wouldn't be of much use. However, the Primal Chaos City leader didn't know. Luo Feng's earth body was indeed most suited for the Spirit Reader path. Once he becomes an Undying, it'll be even more so. P.S. First chapter has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 946. While Luo Feng was using the virtual universe to research and create a suitable absolute art for the star map, the information within the ice prison began to spread. Is this wrong? Back then, when Whitebone Emperor battled with that human, the commotion was so huge, even I felt the energy ripples. I secretly watched from afar. However, I saw it clearly. Personally, of course, it's not wrong. How can that be? Your words are too ridiculous. You said that humans' teleportation speed was 10 times faster than Whitebone Emperor, that his movement speed is the fastest in the ice prison. The 5 tycoons of the ice prison, they're all extraordinary, and 3 of them are special life forms. How can their speed be slower than him? This is the truth. It's not that I don't believe you. We've been through life and death together, supporting each other. That's why we've survived until now in the ice prison. How can I not believe you? It's just that his speed is too ridiculous. I really can't believe it. I don't dare to believe it. I felt the ripples of the battle and flew out of the ocean to secretly watch. I saw it with my own eyes. Haha, don't make up lies so ridiculous. One look and you can tell it's fake. As the ice prison was only so big, many who were hidden in the ice mountains, snow fields, and ice ocean felt the ripples and secretly watched, allowing the news to spread. However, other than a few warriors who personally watched, the others who heard the news didn't believe it. Until a year later, Whitebone Emperor also publicly praised that human, saying that his speed was the fastest in the ice prison. Immediately, the direction of the news in the prison of ice changed. Since Whitebone King, one of the people involved in the battle, said it himself, it was much more credible. Moreover, With White Bone King status and pride, he would not lie like this. 10 years later, one of the 5 tycoons, Skywolf, announced the new Ice Prison rankings, actually placing the new human warrior at rank 18. That newly ascended human had only fought 3 battles when he first arrived. They were against the Tsang Jiang clan, the Cobb Butcher clan, and the White Bone King, and yet he was ranked 18th. It was clear that one of the 5 giants, the Heavenly Wolf clan, was also very optimistic about this human. Furthermore, the description of his information stated that he was extremely fast. If one were to say that the rumors about the new human in the ice prison were good for Luo Feng at the start, but some of the rumors that followed were not good. That human definitely has an anonymous account that connects to the virtual universe. He's the only human in the entire prison of ice. Disregarding everything else, he's definitely able to connect to the virtual universe. And with his level of strength, his position in the outside world must be quite high as well. It's said that he's also a spirit reader controller, so it's not strange for him to control some slaves. Since he wants to control slaves, it's only natural for him to keep some anonymous accounts that can connect to the virtual universe. These rumors were also quite logical and credible. Connect to the virtual universe? Anonymous account? This was enough to make the warriors in the ice prison go crazy. The long years had made them very patient. At the start, they didn't make a move. However, as time passed, the warriors began to secretly search for Luo Feng. However, considering Luo Feng's strength, there were very few people who dared to do anything to Luo Feng. There were even fewer people looking for Luo Feng, only 2 or 3 of them. Why can't I find it? Where are you hiding? The ice prison is only so big. We've searched the entire ice prison, but why can't we find him? The few warriors searching for Luo Feng were all furious. They used their god energies to search. In theory, they should be able to find him easily. However, they didn't know that Luo Feng had an extremely high-level micro-scanning device that could completely hide his presence. In the entire ice prison, in terms of micro-scanning devices, there were a few with them. However, none of them could compare to Luo Feng. They just couldn't find Luo Feng. The strongest warrior of the northern ice prison lived at the peak of an ice mountain range. There was a majestic palace built there, and within it lived the special life form called Silver Eye. Silver Eye, one of the 5 tycoons, ranked 2nd in ice prison. His eyes were always closed. The moment he opened them, being targeted by him meant death. Virtual universe? On the throne of the palace, a god spirit, who was about 30 meters tall and dressed in snow-white armor, was sitting. There was a huge horizontal eye on his face, and the eye was closed. His entire body was faintly rippling, and invisible ripples emanated from his body, affecting the flow of time around him. Master, according to the information, even though no one has seen a human with an anonymous account, he's a spirit reader. Hence, there's a high chance he has an anonymous account that connects to the virtual universe. I think so too, Master. 2 king-ranked experts prostrated themselves on the ground. They were Silver Eye's soul-controlled slaves. In the ice prison, due to the despair, no warrior was willing to become a slave. To get a slave, one could only use soul control. I want to see this human. Silver Eye ordered from the throne. Master, no one has found this human. This human's concealment methods are impressive. The 2 slaves said. The huge silhouette walked down from the throne. Then I'll go find him myself. It's been a long time since I've left the northern ice prison. However, if I can get an anonymous account and connect to the virtual universe, it'll be worth it. With a step, he walked out of the palace and began to search for Luo Feng. Silver Eye ranked 2nd in ice prison. However, it was hard to accurately judge the strength of the 5 tycoons. Over the long years, the 5 of them each occupied a region, and Silver Eye was proficient in the time loss. Plus, he was a special life form and had some special methods. He wasn't afraid of Luo Feng's escape speed. Against the time stop, no matter how fast he was, it was useless. As he had confidence, he wouldn't let Luo Feng escape. He chose to go personally. Silver Eye began to search for Luo Feng. He didn't hide anything and openly searched for Luo Feng. The news of Silver I searching for a human quickly spread throughout the ice prison. However, what made the warriors dumbfounded was, even Silver I couldn't find the human. Eastern Ice Prison, deep within the snowy grounds underground cave. Luo Feng's mini-scanning device was always activated and hidden. Luo Feng had acquired a huge fortune in the foreign battlefield before. He sold his scanning device to exchange for a mini-scanning device worth tens of billions of mixed elements. This was Luo Feng's plan to save his life in the universe's secret regions. Naturally, he was willing to buy a high-quality one. Luo Feng's earth body sat crossed-legged in the hall, his consciousness connected to the virtual universe. Virtual universe within the training grounds. How a centipede-like beast bathed in flames was entrenched in space. It spat out flames and roared at Luo Feng. Beast god tail condense. Golden pearls floated before Luo Feng. Every pearl had complicated engravings engraved on it. A total of 160 golden pearls under Luo Feng's control immediately became beams of light and flew out. In mid-air, they formed tens of thousands of golden threads. In an instant, a beast god that was over 1,000 m long appeared in space. This beast god's attack was very different from the beast god weapon's attack. The beast god weapon had a total of 6 forms. It was created by Hiroto. The moment it was unleashed, the beast god illusion would gradually solidify. It was a complete evolution. It was said that when one trained to the 6th form, it was almost as though a true beast god had descended. It was only a tiny bit away from a true beast god. Luo Feng's current beast god illusion was completely different. In mid-air, this beast god illusion was very ethereal and blurry. Only that tail. Pieces of scales, even the scales had engravings on them. The scales formed this long tail. With just one look, one would think it was the true beast god's tail. Hiroto might not have seen the real beast god statue, but I have the beast god statue. I can see the mysterious patterns on every scale of the beast god statue with my own eyes. These 100 years, my golden horned beast has been studying the engravings on the tail. From then on, the techniques I unleash are more focused on the tail. The other parts are all illusions. The tail is the true killing move. Hiroto isn't wrong. He doesn't have a true beast god statue. Hence, the most suitable thing for him is to slowly evolve and improve. The entire body will combine and unleash the killing move. And I have the beast god statue. Hence, I can concentrate all my spirit energy on the important areas. Luo Feng thought. How? The distant centipede beast within the flames fiercely leaped. It left behind a 1,000,000 kilometers after image as it rushed over. The beast god, too, roared and rushed over. Rumble. The two of them collided in midair. The beast deity's head, claws, and other parts were like mist, breaking upon impact. But when the centipede's many sharp claws swept past, they once again condensed into the blurry illusion of the head. Only the long tail covered in scales was incomparably real. It finally moved. Pong! It was so fast that a curved bolt of lightning appeared in midair. It was ridiculously fast. He whipped the head of the giant centipede beast, causing its head to crack. Every part of its body shook violently, and then with a boom, it turned into powder. Success! Luo Feng stood in space and revealed a look of glee. A golden-robed silhouette suddenly appeared in space. It emanated a faint pressure. Luo Feng turned and bowed respectfully. Teacher. He was suspicious within. Even when he created the bright moon strategy, he went to the Thunder Island Palace to personally meet his teacher. Why did the Primal Chaos City leader run over to the training grounds this time? Your spirit weapon control technique isn't any weaker than your blade work. The Primal Chaos City leader praised. Luo Feng listened obediently. However, there's still a difference between training in the training grounds and battling in reality. The Primal Chaos City leader said, "You can battle in the real world. After 10 matches, you can come find me." "Yes, teacher," Luo Feng said respectfully. Having just created a new, absolute art, he wanted to test it out. "Go," the Primal Chaos City leader said. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. after which his consciousness left the virtual universe. The primal chaos city leader watched as Luo Feng vanished. He couldn't help but shake his head. Fighter and spirit reader are two different paths. Even though he walks the path of the beast god, and even the most powerful absolute warriors would focus on one path, he split his attention into two. Walking both the fighter and spirit reader paths, it's really let him suffer a little. Following which the primal chaos city leader vanished. After finishing 2 chapters, he didn't say anything else. He was filled with tears. He had to prepare tonight and focus on writing tomorrow. 6 chapters. There was only half a day left of the double pass event. It would end at 12 tomorrow. Chapter 9:47. Eastern Ice Prison, deep within the snow ground. After 100 years, I've finally created the first form. Luo Feng was filled with glee as he stood up. Congratulations, Master. Congratulations, Master. Almost like a diamond man, Heart Refiner Emperor said respectfully. Master's strength has improved greatly. You'll be able to kill even more warriors in this ice prison and get even more tags, gathering 10,000 tags. The chances are much higher. Covered in fur like a ferocious bird, Extreme Rainbow Emperor said respectfully. Luo Feng laughed loudly. I didn't let you two come out to kiss my ass. I wanted you two to help me come up with ideas. Ideas? Heart Refiner Emperor and Extreme Rainbow Emperor glanced at each other. I've created my own pinnacle technique, Bright Moon Scribe. That's a close combat technique. Right now, I've created a spirit weapon attack technique. That's also an absolute technique. What do you two think? What name should we use? Luo Feng asked. Back when he was thinking about the name Bright Moon Scribe, he had rejected many other names. Coming up with a name was already a very difficult task. Since it's a spirit weapon technique, and it uses Master Stars, and it's something Master created in the Ice Prison, why don't we call it Star Prison? Heart Refiner Emperor said. No. The Ice Prison is just a place Master stumbled upon while exploring the universe. And this absolute technique is destined to spread with Master success. How would that Ice Prison have a right to be named? From what I see, Master is walking the path of the Beast God. Using his spirit weapon will create a Beast God. Let's call it Beast God. Just the 2 words Beast God. Even though it seems domineering and arrogant, it also shows that Master's goal is to reach the level of the Beast God. Sometimes, one has to be domineering. When Master becomes an absolute being in the universe, the name Beast God will become natural. Extreme Rainbow Emperor said. Luo Feng listened and shook his head. Extreme Rainbow Emperor and Heart Refiner Emperor were giving out ideas. Luo Feng was thinking too. Their thoughts clashed, causing name after name to be thought of. Some names were domineering, some more reserved. However, to truly satisfy Luo Feng was extremely difficult. Finally, after comparing, Luo Feng still decided on a seemingly normal name. Simple and normal, it suited Luo Feng the most. Let's call it the Myriad Stars Dao Sermon. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with anticipation. This technique of his also revealed his own path, and the star tower could only use over 10,000 ceiling stars. According to what Mountain Guest said back then, Luo Feng could only use 10 at most. The 10,000 stars represented Luo Feng's ambition. The technique he created was to activate all the stars simultaneously. There is no need to explain the meaning of preaching. This first form is extremely fast, so I'll call it Shocking Lightning Dashing Star. Luo Feng chose a much faster name for this form. The first form of the Myriad Star Dao presentation, Lightning Galloping Star. This move only took Luo Feng over 100 years. Back then, Luo Feng spent over 1,000 years researching Milky Way in the sky. The reason why he took so little time was because 1. Luo Feng's current level was higher, and 2. This lightning dashing star was created from the scale armor part of the 7 transformations combined with the Beast God's conception. Luo Feng already had the experience of creating Milky Way in the sky from the first part. Naturally, it was much faster now. It wasn't that Luo Feng didn't want to create it based on the second part, the muscles part. However, that was obviously much harder. Creating the first form first, then creating the second form later would be much easier. Luo Feng waved his hand and kept Extreme Rainbow Emperor and Heart Refiner Emperor in his world ring. Walking out of the cave, I've already created a suitable attack for the star map. My strength has greatly increased. I'll go test it out now. Teacher told me to find him after 10 battles. Luo Feng suddenly stopped at the entrance of the cave, frowning. Primal Chaos City leader teacher didn't say much else. He only told me to find him after 10 battles. What does that mean? If he was satisfied with me, he would have praised me straight away. There's no need to tell me to find him after 10 battles. Which means he isn't satisfied with my spirit weapon attack. Luo Feng's mind flashed with many thoughts. He was naturally intelligent. It was just that he was filled with joy from his 100 years of hard work. He didn't think much about it. Not satisfied? Is it because I'm multitasking? Luo Feng immediately guessed the reason. This was too easy to guess because it was common sense. Powerhouses had to focus their attention on one area. Even the most talented powerhouses had to focus their attention on one area. Splitting their attention to two things was a very foolish thing to do. For example, Bolin, he had once split his attention to research the laws of space and time, but in the end he suffered a setback and finally came to his senses. He isn't satisfied with my spirit weapon attack, which means he supports me to walk the fighter path. My willpower is strong. My spirit energy amplitude is also high. I'm very suitable to walk the spirit reader path. The Primal Chaos City leader teacher knows this. Luo Feng thought, but why does he still support my fighter path? Luo Feng had talent in the fighter path, and also in the spirit reader path. Which path to take? It seemed like the Primal Chaos City leader supported Luo Feng to walk the fighter path. Teacher should know some secrets. Luo Feng thought, however, my spirit reader path was decided by Mountain Guest. He left me the Calamity Armor and the Star Pagoda. Especially that Star Pagoda. It's a spirit weapon and one of the strongest treasures in the universe. With such a treasure, if I don't study the spirit reader path, wouldn't it be a waste? He didn't have any close combat treasures. Like his second senior brother Flame Emperor had the Flame God Halberd. Whatever, from the looks of it, Mountain Guest is one of the strongest in the universe. His knowledge and experience should be higher than the Primal Chaos City leader teacher. Luo Feng thought. What's more, the Earth people were nurtured by Mountain Guest teacher. He definitely knows of my potential. I too feel that I'm more suitable for the spirit reader path. Also, Bright Moon Plan and the 10,000 star map are both studied at the same time. It'll only take 10 to 20% more time. Luo Feng thought, I'll study and train at the same time. If there really are secrets I don't know of, I'll decide later. After which Luo Feng walked out of the cave. Rumble. He immediately flew into the sky from the depths of the snow. The snow was like air, unable to stop Luo Feng from flying. After a while he flew out of the surface. Endless snow, a vast expanse of whiteness. The cold was oppressive. The silver-armored and winged Luo Feng spread his wings in mid-air, looking around. I have to find an opponent to fight. Luo Feng looked around, but everyone is usually in hiding. How do I find an opponent? I'll try my luck first. Xiao. Luo Feng became a beam of light, breaking through the skies. In the northern ice prison, inside the palace at the peak of the towering and undulating ice mountain. One of the 5 magnates, the master of the icy hell of the north, Silver Eye, was sitting motionlessly on his throne like a statue. After spending countless years in the icy hell, Silver Eye was born cold and slow. After countless years, he became even colder. Usually, he would not move for thousands of years. Outside the palace, a black-armored, king-ranked, formidable martial artist was standing guard. Suddenly, there was a flash beside him as a figure appeared out of thin air. It was one of the 2 servants under Silver Eye. Have you found a human yet? Not yet. No one in the entire ice prison has ever found this human. Ever since the battle with White Bone Emperor back then, this human has completely vanished. The 2 servants communicated mentally. They usually went out to search occasionally. The moment they found Luo Feng, they would immediately inform their master Silver Eye. You guard the master, I'll go out and search. The black-armored servant said, after which he teleported and vanished. Luo Feng had been in hiding for over 100 years. The absolute warriors of the ice prison who were initially interested in him had all given up and returned to their bases. Not a single one. Luo Feng flew through the entire eastern ice prison, only stopping when he was above the ice ocean, gazing below. Looks like the warriors of the ice prison are usually in hiding. None of them show themselves. To find a warrior to fight, I'll have to use some tricks. Luo Feng gazed at the endless ice ocean below, his gaze suddenly as sharp as a blade. Break! Rumble! A formless spirit energy immediately smashed into the ice ocean below. Back when Luo Feng first awakened on Earth, his spirit energy was already able to easily break steel bars, and now his spirit energy was so strong, it could easily tear apart a neutron star. With such a strong spirit energy smashing into the ice layer, the outcome was obvious. The surrounding 10,000 kilometers ice layer was immediately reduced to nothing. The powerful tremors caused the distant ice layer to crack and crack, almost like a huge beast was crushing it. The shock wave spread through the air in all directions. I believe very soon the warriors will discover this disturbance. Luo Feng thought. The true absolute warriors of the ice prison will probably appear soon. With such a huge disturbance, it very quickly attracted the attention of a warrior tens of millions of km away in the depths of the ice ocean. Energy ripples. Who's fighting? That foreign race warrior snuck out of the ice layer. Looking at the direction of the ripples, with a glance he could see a silhouette tens of millions of km away. Human. The foreign race warrior was shocked, immediately retreating back into the depths of the ice ocean. The human has actually appeared. The 10 emperors, the 5 tycoons. Many of them are looking for him. He actually dares to appear. The foreign race warrior was shocked within. However, he didn't dare provoke Luo Feng. He was very clear. The human was able to escape from the 10 emperors and was even recognized by the White Bone Emperor as the fastest in the ice prison. He wasn't someone he could provoke. As for snitching, there was no benefit to snitching to Silver Eye. He might even lose his life. Who would do it? The energy ripples spread in all directions, attracting the attention of the foreign race warriors. However, they realized that the humans were too scared to show themselves, and the energy ripples got weaker and weaker until they disappeared. There's actually no warrior coming. Luo Feng stood in the air above the ice ocean, waiting for a while, yet not a single warrior came. I don't believe I can attract a warrior that dares to fight me. Luo Feng flew far away, once again using his spirit energy to strike the ice layer below. Rumble, rumble, rumble. When Luo Feng struck the third ice layer, he finally attracted a warrior that dared to fight him. Chapter 948. Spirit energy broke through the ice layer, causing countless ice shards to fly in the air. Within the flying shards, a silhouette flew over from the distance. Luo Feng stood in the air above the ice sea. Through the flying shards, he could vaguely make out the silhouette. "Ha! Human, you actually dare to show yourself." The majestic voice pierced through the void and exploded in Luo Feng's ears. At the same time, a powerful divine power swept out in all directions. The ice shards instantly turned into nothingness. In an instant, the sky was clear and the air was clear. Luo Feng could clearly see the distant warrior. He had a lion-like lower body with 4 hooves. At the same time, he had a human-like upper body with 4 thick arms. His body was green and black, almost like a metal sculpture. A message floated in Luo Feng's mind. Rushing Thunder Emperor, ranked 12 in the ice prison, proficient in time laws. It's actually him. Luo Feng was shocked. Even though his rank is slightly lower than that White Bone Emperor, in truth, the 10 emperors are all about the same in power. And this Rushing Thunder Emperor is proficient in time laws. I'm proficient in speed. However, the moment time stops, I'll be in trouble. He actually counters me. He felt that it was troublesome, but at the same time, his battle intent grew stronger. Why don't you dare show yourself? Luo Feng's voice resounded throughout the land. Looking at the distant Rushing Thunder Emperor, don't tell me I'm afraid of you. Even White Bone Emperor can't do anything to me. much less someone like you who's one rank lower than him. Human, don't you know that 2 of the 5 Leviathans are looking for you? Rushing Thunder Emperor's voice rumbled. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. 5 Leviathans? That represented the strongest powers in the ice prison. Among them, there were 3 special life forms. Luo Feng naturally had his guard up. Silver-Eyed and Blood Mantis have both been looking for you. Rushing Thunder Emperor continued. They're all special life forms. Luo Feng muttered. Haha, so what if they've been looking for me? Don't tell me I'll always be in hiding? Luo Feng laughed loudly. Right? It's useless for them to look for you, because today you'll die by my hands. Rushing Thunder Emperor's voice rumbled like thunder. His battle intent filled the sky. Human die. With a few simple words, he especially pointed out that the 2 special life forms were looking for Luo Feng. This was to make Luo Feng feel uneasy. The battle erupted in an instant. In the distance, more than 30 foreign race experts were scattered all over the place, watching this battle from afar. The humans are fighting with the Thunder King. Then the humans might suffer a great loss. Humans are so fast. In the air above the ice sea, Luo Feng and Thunder Emperor's battle immediately descended into madness. Thunder God trample. The rushing Thunder Emperor roared, almost like an undying bull charging at Luo Feng. Its 4 hooves stomped on space, causing it to explode and lightning snakes to fly about. And what made Luo Feng uncomfortable was that the rushing Thunder Emperor seemed to suddenly speed up by 10 times and then suddenly slow down. Under the peculiar time flow, Luo Feng didn't even have the slightest sense of it when the rushing Thunder Emperor suddenly appeared before Luo Feng. Thud, 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 thud. Thunder Emperor's 4 hooves stomped straight towards Luo Feng. Each hoof was terrifyingly heavy, and the electric snakes that flew out from each stomp were enough to turn a planet into ashes. Pong! Luo Feng was immediately stomped on his back. The Wu killer wings withstood the hundreds of stomps, causing Luo Feng's entire body to fall into the ice sea below. Rumble, the ice sea exploded and created huge waves. A silver light fiercely rushed into the sky from the waves. It was the unharmed Luo Feng. Rushing Thunder Emperor, receive one of my moves. Luo Feng waved his hand and threw out 8 black balls within the waves that rushed into the sky, at the same time secretly unleashing his soul attack soul blade. The Thunder Emperor's 4 hooves stepped in the air and rushed forward once again. Simultaneously, mottled ancient chains appeared in his hands. Each of his 4 arms was wrapped around a chain, and on the chains were lightning snakes. Just as he was prepared to receive Luo Feng's spirit weapon attack, the formless soul blade descended. Rushing Thunder Emperor's stone-carved face suddenly had a pained expression. Human. The charging Thunder Monarch roared and swung the 4 chains. Whoosh, 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 the 4 mottled chains were filled with electric snakes. As the 4 lightning chains danced, the flow of time in the surrounding space kept changing. Lightning marks. Rushing Thunder Emperor's waving one of the chains was like a venomous snake hunting for food, fiercely shooting out. A bolt of lightning appeared in the sky. Immediately pouncing towards the beast god silhouette that had just formed, the beast god immediately dodged. Simultaneously his tail became a whip, lashing straight at the bolt of lightning. Pong! The 8 black balls all clashed against the mottled chains. However, they were all repelled. Human, other than escaping faster, what other moves do you have? Rushing Thunder Emperor laughed maniacally, his 4 hooves stomping in space, rushing towards Luo Feng, holding the 4 mottled chains. Every single one of them was filled with an energy that made one's heart tremble. As the chains danced, the surroundings became the domain of the lightning chains. Luo Feng waved his hand and retracted the 8 stars, looking at Rushing Thunder Emperor, thinking, my unleashing of the whip, compared to Rushing Thunder Emperor, White Bone Emperor and Black Razor Emperor, is indeed weaker by a level. Who? With a flap of his wings, he left a curved path in mid-air, pulling apart the distance between him and Rushing Thunder Emperor. Don't flee. Rushing Thunder Emperor roared, He had finally witnessed what it meant to be the fastest in ice prison. Luo Feng, however, didn't even look at him, staring at his left palm. Let's see how this spirit weapon attack that I've spent 100 years researching is. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with anticipation. Immediately, the star map in his palm was imprinted with complex origin law engravings. Such complex origin law engravings required a total of 16 stars to be able to completely support it. Of the 16 stars, 8 had a faint purple halo, and the other 8 had no purple halo. Go, show the power of the lightning dashing star move. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with anticipation. The 16 stars floating above his palm immediately flew up, tens of thousands of golden threads intertwined, drawing upon the universe origin laws. A 1,000 huge beast god silhouette appeared in the air above the ice sea. The beast god's entire body was blurry, almost like a condensed mist, almost as though it could collapse at any time. Only that tail, the scales were clear, stacked on top of each other, forming that 1,000 long, huge beast god tail. A formless tyrannical pressure emanated from that tail. The other parts of the beast god's body were like air. Haha, this silhouette can't even compare to the one before. I could even blow it apart with one breath. Rushing Thunder Emperor's laughter shook the skies. In truth, he was staring at the beast god silhouette's tail. He too felt that it was a huge threat. Go! The 4 dancing chains simultaneously became 4 beams of lightning, darting towards the beast god silhouette. How? The beast god silhouette stood in mid-air as the 4 mottled chains darted over. That true beast god scaled tail moved. Rumble. His movement was frighteningly fast. The scaly tail almost instantly whipped the chain, and the other 3 chains also came to kill him. However, under the whipping of this scaled tail, the 4 chains all shook and twisted, being whipped and sent flying. Good. Luo Feng, who was anticipating the power of this move, revealed a look of glee. It can actually destroy rushing Thunder Emperor's attack head-on. Indeed, as long as I fully focus on researching the spirit weapon technique, using the star map, this treasure star map won't disappoint me. In the distance, watching the battle in the ice prison, the 10 alien warriors, even though they were scattered, were all dumbstruck. They had been in the ice prison for a very long time. 100 years to them was simply too short. They didn't expect that the human who could only flee from White Bone Emperor 100 years ago would actually be able to defeat rushing Thunder Emperor head-on. He has the power of one of the 10 emperors. How can he improve so quickly? It's too ridiculous. Luo Feng himself, however, knew it wasn't ridiculous at all. Every star in this star map was a treasure, especially the 16 stars that formed a perfect body under the map. Through Luo Feng's technique, its power was amplified. Hence, the star map was considered a treasure. Without the map within, just the scattered stars, even if there were 10, 100, 1,000, no matter how many there were, wouldn't have the right to be called a treasure. Creating my own pinnacle technique, only then will I not let down the treasure. Luo Feng rejoiced within. However, according to the description on the ranking, the Rush Thunder Emperor's treasure chain can fuse into one, which is its strongest power. And he still hasn't used time stop, so I can't be careless. And in the air above the eastern ice prison, a black armored silhouette was flying slowly. He was one of the 2 servants of the 5 tycoons Silver Eye. The black armored servant was currently searching for a human. I said I'm here to search for a human, but in truth, I'm here to relax. The black armored servant had a relaxed expression on his face. That human won't be so easy to find. I'll just come out for a stroll. The entire ice prison knows I'm Silver Eye's servant. No one dares to make a move against me. What freedom. The black armored servant fiercely turned to look at the ice ocean. Energy ripples. Let's go take a look. The black armored servant immediately teleported. So, about 10 million kilometers away from the battlefield in the air, the black armored servant looked from afar. With a glance, he could see the 2 silhouettes, one big and one small. The big one was the huge beast god silhouette. The small one was Rushing Thunder Emperor silhouette. Rushing Thunder Emperor is fighting a huge beast. Where did the huge beast come from? Oh no. The black armored servant stared, swiftly discovering the even smaller human silhouette. It's a human. The human is actually here, right? That huge beast silhouette was caused by his spirit weapon attack. The report said so long ago. The black armored servant was overjoyed. Haha, I actually discovered a human. I've done well. I've done well. Master will definitely be very happy when he finds out. I'll immediately report to Master. The black armored servant immediately teleported, disappearing from the Eastern Ice Prison, arriving at the entrance of his master's Silver Eyes Palace in the Northern Ice Prison. Chapter 949. In the distance, Thunder Emperor was shocked as he saw this. He fiercely pulled the chains in his hands and retracted the 4 chains. A frontal attack. Thunder Emperor couldn't believe it. Didn't they say that the human was forced to flee by the White Bone Emperor? This chain of his was a precious treasure that he had painstakingly obtained in the Ice Purgatory all those years ago. It possessed boundless might and could be split into multiple chains, or it could also be combined into one. Combine! The chains on the 4 arms of the rolling Thunder Monarch quickly connected with each other and shrank, quickly turning into an ordinary-looking mottled chain. Howl! The illusionary beast god roared as it rushed over. That scaled tail that was even longer than the beast god's body made Thunder Emperor tense up. Lightning whip. The Thunder King roared furiously and fiercely waved the mottled chain in his hand. Whoosh! The chain seemed to slowly cut through the space. As it flew and cut through the space, the flow of time in different areas that the chain passed through changed. The powerful destructive power formed by the time disorder was also added to the mottled chain. The slow chain was even faster than the illusory beast deity. Pong, 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 pong. Space itself exploded inch by inch. The scaled tail swiftly lashed out. It was indeed as fast as a shooting star, forcefully lashing against the mottled chain. One was infused with the destructive force of time and thunder. The chain was a treasure that was even more suited for time and thunder. The other was infused with the tyrannical power of space and gold. 16 stars. Each of them were treasures no weaker than the chain. After merging with the scroll, the 16 stars became one. Rumble. It was a hard clash. The chain was immediately knocked away. In mid-air, the scaled tail whip was as fast as lightning and swiftly swept past Thunder Emperor. No matter how fast the rushing Thunder King was, he could not outrun the illusory beast deity. Unable to put up any resistance, his divine body was directly torn apart by the whip shadow. The 16 stars in the tail whip shadow flickered faintly, and when they came into contact with the fragments of his divine body, the rushing Thunder King's divine body was corroded, and he was instantly injured. Bastard! Thunder Emperor's body condensed, and he immediately extended his hand to retrieve the chain. At the same time, he stared furiously at Luo Feng. Human, I will remember this grudge. The Thunder Monarch immediately turned into a streak of light and tried to escape. Trying to escape? It won't be that easy. Luo Feng didn't give chase from afar. However, with a thought from his spirit energy, the illusory beast god moved with terrifying speed and blocked the Thunder King's path. That terrifying scaled tail once again swept towards the Thunder King. Despicable human, you are forcing me. The rushing Thunder King let out a furious roar. Boom! His aura skyrocketed, and his might became 1,000 times stronger. With a casual sweep of the chain in his hand, the illusory beast deity that was charging at him shattered, and the 16 stars were sent flying. The Thunder King is burning his divine body. The Thunder King was actually forced to burn his divine body. The distant ice prison warriors who were secretly watching the battle were all stunned. Back then, Luo Feng, who could only flee from White Bone Emperor, was actually able to force Thunder Emperor to flee. This was too exaggerated. Interesting. Now, even the human will have to ignite his divine body. The Thunder King ignited his divine body to increase his power. That human's power is very close to the Thunder King's, at most a little stronger. He has to ignite his divine body. Otherwise, he won't be the Thunder King's match. That human is stupid. Since the Thunder King wants to escape, let him escape. Why must he stop him? Isn't he just forcing each other to risk their lives? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. This Thunder King was actually igniting his divine body. However, he himself couldn't ignite his divine body. Thunder King, you can leave now. Luo Feng flapped his wings and became a streak of light, swiftly escaping. Simultaneously, he waved his hand and the 16 stars flew back into his palm. Despicable human. The Thunder King held the chain and stomped with his 4 hooves, causing the space to constantly explode. His speed was terrifying as he rushed towards Luo Feng. Xiao! 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 The space became twisted and twisted. The moment Luo Feng's speed exploded, especially the instant he changed directions, it was terrifying. One could clearly see with the naked eye that the distance between the Thunder King and Luo Feng was getting further and further. Even though the Thunder King was igniting his divine body, his instantaneous burst and change speed was still far from Luo Feng's. Impossible. How? Ice prison first? Ice prison first. In the distance, the ice prison warriors watching were all dumbstruck. You want to escape now? It's too late. The Thunder King was raging. His aura was strong and explosive. His 4 hooves stomped in space as he chased Luo Feng. He wanted to unleash his time stop. However, the distance between him and Luo Feng was getting further and further. He had no confidence in unleashing his time stop on the human. Time stop was very powerful. However, its limitations were very strong. Like the space lock, once the ripples of space were locked, then no matter how intense the battle was, it wouldn't affect the space lock. However, time stop was different. The moment it was used on a certain area, then all life forms within that area would be affected. Other than the soul and consciousness, everything else would be restricted and unable to move. To struggle and break apart normally required time. This amount of time was more than enough for a warrior to kill his opponent. First unleashing the time stop, and then killing the immobilized opponent. How powerful was that? However, firstly, this move would receive a huge backlash from the warrior's body and weapon. To suppress Luo Feng, one had to shrink the time stop area. The smaller the area, the stronger the restriction on the area. Secondly, to unleash this move, it had to be used on the enemy's area. However, Luo Feng was a spirit reader. His spirit energy was constantly released. The moment he felt Thunder King's god energy surge over, Luo Feng would definitely be alerted. With Luo Feng's instantaneous movement speed, Thunder King didn't even have the time to unleash the time stop and still ensure that Luo Feng was within that area. Now that his body was ignited, his power soared. Thunder King could unleash the time stop on a large area around Luo Feng. However, Luo Feng was smart too. He fled far away. The distance between them was too far. Plus, the restriction on the ice prison was already very strong. Unleashing the time stop from a long distance was much harder. Cunning and despicable human. Thunder King raged. He didn't even think of killing the human. He only wanted to force him to ignite his body. However, he didn't expect the human to not even ignite his body. He didn't want to lose out at all. Damn. Thunder King immediately became a beam of light and flew into the distance. In the blink of an eye, he vanished. Northern Ice Prison, within the palace at the peak of the ice mountain. Is what you said true? The tall silhouette that had been sitting silently for a long time stood up. Master, I'm not wrong. That human is currently battling with Thunder King. Master, we have to rush over. If we're late, their battle will end. The black-armored servant knelt there and communicated anxiously. He didn't want to waste time talking, because he was very clear on how fast an absolute warrior's battle was. Bring me there. Silver, I took a step and arrived before the black-armored servant. He grabbed him. Yes, master. The black-armored servant immediately teleported and headed towards the battlefield. In the air above the ice ocean, the spectating alien race experts had already begun to return to their bases. However, this battle had caused them to sigh in amazement. The human was too arrogant. He actually defeated the rushing Thunder Monarch and forced him to burn his divine body. The most sinister thing is that this human actually escaped without burning his divine body. The rushing Thunder Monarch must be furious. The 10 King conferred experts are roughly equal in strength, and it is rare for anyone to suffer a loss. This time, the rushing Thunder Monarch suffered a huge loss. The human is really fast. Even if Thunder King ignited his divine body, he couldn't catch up to him. When the alien race experts began to return, they suddenly felt a terrifying energy wave that made their hearts tremble. Instantly, they all rose to the ice layer and peeked their heads out to take a look. At a glance in the distant sky above the ice ocean stood a towering, snow-white figure. The boundless energy that he emitted caused the alien race experts to feel somewhat dazed. Silvereye. It's Silvereye. Northern Ice Hell Lord, Silvereye. This group of alien race experts who had lived in the prison of ice for countless years had long forgotten much about the outside world. They only knew that those who stood at the peak of the prison of ice were the 5 magnates. And Silvereye was one of the most terrifying of them all. It was said that other than the other 4 magnates, as long as any alien race expert was in front of Silvereye, he would open his eyes. If they were seen by the legendary Silvereye, then they would die without a doubt. Luckily, Silvereye knew that killing all the weaklings wouldn't be enough. Most of the numbers were split among the 5 tycoons. He didn't want the ice hell to be too empty, hence he couldn't be bothered with the weaklings. Luo Fengzheng exclaimed within. The difference between the ice hell warriors and the warriors of the outside world is very obvious from Thunder King. For a warrior like Thunder King, if he was in the outside world, he would definitely have many treasures, or at least a protective treasure on him. If he had a protective treasure, then he wouldn't have been so easily pierced by my stars and corroded his divine body. However, the treasures in the ice hell are obviously much rarer. They are all treasures brought over by the over 10,000 absolute warriors that have been imprisoned over the years. While exclaiming, Luo Feng was about to fly away. However, suddenly, a strong energy emanated from ahead. Luo Feng looked up. A 30 tall, dressed in snow-white armor god stood silently in the distant space. His forehead had a huge scar. He had a mouth and a nose, but no eyes. Even though he was just standing there, he emitted an aura that made Luo Feng's heart go cold desolation. That was absolute loneliness, coldness, desolation. Wang. The space ripples around him completely stopped. Silvereye, one of the 5 tycoons. Unique life form Silvereye. Luo Feng's expression immediately changed. He could feel how terrifying Silvereye was when he understood the basic information. However, the moment he saw it with his own eyes, not knowing why, he felt a strong sense of danger within. Undefeatable. Undefeatable. Danger. Danger. Human. Hand over the virtual universe's anonymous account sensor, and I can let you go. Silvereye stood desolately in the distance. His voice was calm. Behind him stood the black-armored servant respectfully. Chapter 950. A snow-white armored silver pupil stood in mid-air, gazing down at Luo Feng waiting for his reply. Even though Luo Feng felt danger within, his eyes gleamed even brighter. He looked up at the silver pupil. I don't have the anonymous number sensor. Will you let me go? I will kill you and check your world ring. The silver pupil gazed down at Luo Feng and said coldly, You don't believe me? Luo Feng said, There's no one in the ice prison that I trust, other than my servants. The silver pupil said slowly. Beside, the black-armored servant stared at Luo Feng and raged. Human, hurry and hand over the anonymous number sensor. If you don't, or if you don't admit it, then the master will definitely kill you. Don't say you don't have one. We don't believe you. Luo Feng nodded. Yes, I have an anonymous account sensor. The moment he finished, the silver pupil's energy grew stronger. But I don't want to hand it over. Luo Feng smiled, revealing his pure white teeth. You're looking for death. The black-armored servant roared. Looks like you do. A low voice resounded from the silver pupil. If you say I'll die, I'll die. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with a mad fighting spirit. Staring at the silver pupil, the blood in his body boiled and his fighting spirit roared. Back on Earth, against the golden-horned beast, he didn't have any fear at all. Coming to steal the black metal board this time, even knowing that Green Chamberlain and Purple Chamberlain were there, he still dared to go. Right now, he had 3 treasures, along with the general armor and general soul. His beast god conception had reached level 20, and he had even created his own pinnacle technique. Just a mere invincible king, conferred martial king, wanted him to flee without a fight, and he even obediently handed over the virtual universe's anonymous account censor? What a dream! Fight! 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 The fighting spirit in his chest was boiling. Luo Feng stared at the silver pupil, revealing his snow-white teeth and smiling. Silver pupil, I came to this ice prison to fight against the absolute warriors. Right now, the 10 emperors are no longer a threat to me. My targets are the 5 of you. I want to fight the 5 of you. You, silver pupil, you are the first. Not afraid of death? His silver eyes gazed at Luo Feng. Even though his eyes were closed, every inch of his skin seemed to be watching everything. Just you alone can't kill me. Luo Feng's battle intent soared. At this time, Luo Feng wasn't panicking at all. Within, he was excited and proud. He still remembered back then when he entered Primal Chaos City and became a disciple of his teacher, True Yin Emperor. However, in the blink of an eye, 10,000 years had passed, and he was about to engage in a life and death battle with an absolute being comparable to his teacher, True Yin, Silver Eye. This was also the first time he had fought against an expert of this level. Come, let me see just how strong the legendary invincible emperor is. Luo Feng howled within. Let me see just how powerful this unique life form is. Luo Feng's fighting spirit was burning. His willpower was unknowingly rising and condensing. Only this kind of battle, where one's life burned and trembled, could truly sharpen the sharpness of an expert. Since you want to die, then die. Silver Pupil said indifferently, under the pitying gaze of the black armored slave beside. He waved his crystal clear palm. It was almost like it was carved out of crystal the moment it waved. Luo Feng felt the space around him change drastically. Shua! Luo Feng's wings flapped and swiftly fled. Simultaneously, 16 black balls appeared in his left palm, swiftly intertwining with tens of thousands of golden threads, beginning to form that beast god illusion. You can't escape. Silver Pupil's voice resounded within the space. A huge palm formed in the space around him. The 1,000 long ice palm immediately flipped and enveloped Luo Feng. What technique is this? A space law type attack. Luo Feng used the Wu killer wings to swiftly dodge, and at the same time, he controlled the illusionary beast god to meet the huge palm head-on. This scene caused Luo Feng to be stunned, because he thought back to the 3 ancient pictures he had seen back in Blood River World. One of them was the beast god's tail, smashing the huge palm. Of course, that picture represented 2 beings. One was the beast god, and the other was the ultimate eternal being that caused the beast god's death. Those 2 were much stronger than Luo Feng and Silver Pupil. However, the battle scene was very similar. The illusory beast deity waved its scaly tail fiercely in the face of the gigantic ice crystal palm. Rumble! The tail was like a shooting star, smashing heavily into the ice palm. Both of them were over 1,000 long, clashing in mid-air and creating a terrifying shockwave. And the illusionary beast god and the huge palm both trembled simultaneously. The beast god completely crumbled, and the 16 black balls swiftly flew towards Luo Feng. As for the huge ice palm, it was almost like a piece of ice, with many cracks appearing on it. Silver Pupil, proficient in time laws and space laws. Luo Feng exclaimed. His time laws are much stronger than his space laws. However, even the weaker space laws have such power. It's too powerful. Luo Feng could feel that Silver Pupil's god energy was very strong. Just his god energy alone was already over 10 million times that of the Sector Lords. Along with his god energy amplification, even though it was just a simple palm, it was able to suppress Luo Feng's strongest attack with his treasure. This was a reason why his foundation was so much stronger. In the distance, Silver Pupil sighed softly. To actually be able to block my palm, not bad. You have the right to be proud. It's not pride, it's confidence. Silver Pupil, don't brag. Whatever you have, just use it. Luo Feng opened his wings and stood in the distance. All right. Silver Pupil looked at Luo Feng. Even though his eyes were closed, Luo Feng indeed felt like he was being stared at by countless eyes. Chi, an ice crystal finger, seemed to appear out of nowhere before Luo Feng. One had to know that the surrounding space was already locked, and he couldn't teleport. Obviously, his time control was extremely terrifying. Luo Feng was about to close his wings. Suddenly, a formless ripple swept past, and Luo Feng immediately froze in midair. It was time stop. It's time stop. I've been hit. Sad, sad. The distant Silver Pupil sighed. The ice crystal finger that floated in mid-air pierced towards Luo Feng. Break! 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 Luo Feng's willpower and consciousness roared and urged his entire body. The Wu Killer wings on his back, the star map in his palm, and the pagoda pearl in his soul were all trembling. Under Luo Feng's terrifying willpower that surpassed most of the knights, the three treasures struggled and almost instantly broke free from the bindings. Break! Luo Feng's willpower roared. The Wu Killer wings fiercely blocked the incoming ice crystal finger. A terrifying force passed through the wings and hit Luo Feng's entire body. It made him like a shooting star, immediately flung far away. Luo Feng flew backwards. Within, he let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, I broke through the time stop at the critical moment. This Silver Eye is simply too crafty. From the start, that huge palm of his and that ice crystal finger, they were all formed from God energy from afar. This caused me to not be on guard against the God energy in midair. Hence, I fell for his trick. Of course, the main reason he was able to successfully use the time stop and hit me was because of his strength. Even though his God energy pervaded the area, his God energy was at most around his finger. It was still quite far away from me. At such a distance, to be able to use the time stop and use it on me, he's much stronger than that Rush Thunder Emperor. I've met over 1,000 strong warriors from other races in the training grounds, and none of them were this strong. Many thoughts flashed through Luo Feng's mind. When Luo Feng was shocked, that Silver Pupil and his underlings were shocked. He actually dodged it. The black-armored servant couldn't believe it. Master's death god finger. How many warriors have died under that finger? This human actually dodged it and forcefully broke free from Master's time stop. How is this possible? And in the distance, scattered throughout the ice prison, the 10 warriors who felt the ripples and were watching the battle were all completely shocked. Before, when Luo Feng was able to block that slap, they were rather calm. After all, Luo Feng was able to suppress the Thunder Emperor. However, when Luo Feng blocked that finger, Death God Finger, Silver Pupil's Death God Finger, even though Silver Pupil understands the space laws, he's proficient in the time laws. His Death God Finger contains a time attack and a soul attack. First, the time stop, then the soul corrosion attack within the finger will quietly corrode the enemy's soul, leaving them defenseless. This human is actually this strong to be able to withstand that Death God Finger. The Silver Eyes traversing the ice purgatory has 2 major killing moves. One is the Death God's Finger that he frequently uses, and the other move is the Silver Eyes that has always been successful. Even the other 4 great leaders have to use all their strength to deal with it. Who knows, I might be able to see that move today. Pitiful human, if Silver Pupil really opens his eyes, then humanity will really be finished. Silver Pupil was shocked too. That seemingly normal finger was actually one of his killing moves. The usage of time stop was exquisite to the extreme, and the soul corrosion was even more sinister. However, this human before him actually managed to break free from the time stop, and in such a short period of time, he was simply too strong. And when that ice crystal finger touched the human, obviously the soul attack had already begun, yet it didn't have any effect. What a sinister move. It's a pity it's useless. Luo Feng floated in mid-air, his wings extended. Silver pupil, what other moves do you have? Use them all. Even though his attacks were weak, his defense was extremely strong. His body's defense was extremely strong, and his soul defense was even more heavenly. This made Luo Feng mutter, even though his attacks couldn't compare to the opponent's. In terms of defense, the opponent couldn't do anything to him. Human, your strength is indeed very strong. As long as you can block this attack of mine, I'll immediately leave. Silver Pupil said slowly. In the ice prison, those that have seen this move, other than the other 4 tycoons, have all died. This move is called Silver Eye Gaze. Wah! The horizontal mark on his forehead slowly opened. The flow of time was changing, and space itself was trembling. Chapter 9:51. His powerful god body caused the time flow around him to be affected, especially the energy ripples caused by the special ability hidden within his body was unleashed, causing the surrounding space to tremble. Silver white eyes, only the whites of the eyes had no pupils. Staring at Luo Feng. Chi, chi, chi. The powerful god power contained in the silver eyes caused the space around them to explode inch by inch. Furthermore, an eye appeared on every inch of the skin of the 30-meter-tall, crystal-clear body of the silver eyes. His entire body was covered in eyes, as long as the skin was not covered by the snow-white armor. Countless snow-white eyes, however, on his face was the strongest silver-white eye, glowing with a silver light. Rumble! The moment he opened his eyes, the formless god energy immediately rushed into Luo Feng's body. No wonder I felt like this silver. I had countless eyes staring at me, so his entire body was covered in eyes. Just what special life form is he? That was what Luo Feng thought the moment he saw the silver white eye. Following which, the attack had already entered his body, piercing through the Wu killer wings and general armor. The terrifying power of the Silver Eye Gaze was still terrifyingly strong. His soul beast god roared. However, it was like a breeze, unable to shake this formless attack at all. Rumble! It immediately affected his soul. Luo Feng immediately fell into the illusion. This level of illusion wants to affect me. Break. Luo Feng's willpower was heaven-defying, easily breaking through the illusion. The surrounding scenery vanished, following which he entered an endless world of mountains and rivers. Another illusion break. Another illusion break. Layer after layer of illusions. Eternal illusions. Luo Feng's willpower was incomparably strong, madly breaking through layer after layer. However, the formation of the illusions could completely keep up with Luo Feng's breaking speed. Again and again, time passed, almost as though he had been in the illusion for thousands, tens of thousands of years, and the endless illusions continued. This isn't a normal illusion. I've never heard of such a terrifying illusion, and that's Silver Eye. Unleashed such a peculiar move. It should be his natural ability. Luo Feng had been in the illusion for an extremely long time, yet he was still incredibly calm. His willpower had long been tempered by the life and death inheritance. It was terrifyingly strong. Innate ultimate moves are always hard to understand. Like the Golden Horn Beast clone, strengthening, these are all things that can't be trained. This unique skill of his is also very strange. Luo Feng thought. Even though he was trapped in many layers of illusions and couldn't completely escape, he wasn't in a rush. Firstly, even though it seemed like a long time had passed, Luo Feng relied on his connection with the Golden Horned Beast to know that only an instant had passed in the outside world. This was also because Luo Feng's willpower was strong. If his willpower was weaker and he was completely affected by the illusion, he wouldn't be able to maintain contact with his body. After Silver Eye used this move, the countless eyes on the surface of his crystal-like skin began to quietly hide. The silver-white eye on his forehead also slowly closed. This move was an innate ultimate move. Once it was used, the victim would fall into an endless cycle of reincarnation. There were 2 ways to break this move. The first was to use his powerful god energy or soul protecting treasure to forcefully break it. Luo Feng could totally use the pearl to break this move. The second was to endure this move and break through the endless reincarnation. Moreover, one couldn't fall into depravity midway. That would require one to spend an extremely long period of time in the illusory realm. Of course, only an instant had passed in the outside world. Endless reincarnation. If one falls into depravity and enjoys the wonders of the illusions, naturally one's willpower and consciousness will crumble and one's soul will crumble, dying. If one resists and breaks through the layers of illusions, it would be incomparably lonely. And one can't relax even for a moment. The eternity of breaking through the illusions, almost as though there's no end to it. 1,000,000,000,000 years of breaking through. It's enough to make a strong warrior fall into despair and finally fall. Silver Eye was extremely proud of his move. This move was very powerful. It was definitely more terrifying than being locked in the ice prison for countless years. Because one could hide in the ice prison, however, one couldn't rest at all in the illusions. Actually, this move was similar to the life and death inheritance Luo Feng had received before. It was just that breaking through the illusions had a lower requirement of willpower. However, the life and death inheritance forced one into a life and death situation. Towards the end, one wouldn't even be able to think. Silver Eye had just closed his eye on his forehead and smiled. However, in the distant mid-air, Luo Feng had already opened his eyes. You. Silver Eye's entire crystal-clear skin had eyes appearing. How can you possibly? The black-armored servant next to him exclaimed. Impossible. Aside from the other 4 heavyweights, no one can withstand this move. 2 of the other heavyweights had to burn their divine power at the critical moment to survive. You're just a human. How could you withstand this move? How long have you spent in the endless illusions? Silver Eye suddenly said. Endless illusions? It's endless illusions. Luo Feng nodded. I feel like I've spent close to 10,000 years in there. Close to 10,000 years? In the endless loneliness and dryness, without any rest, you've endured through 10,000 years? Silver Eye was filled with awe. Respect. It's still all right. Luo Feng smiled. During the life and death inheritance, every second felt like a year. During those 6,000 years, he felt like he had walked through the borders of life and death countless times. It was much more terrifying than this. Actually, Luo Feng chose to completely endure this move and not use the pearl because he wanted to train his willpower. Countless years had passed in the illusions. Just exiting it, Luo Feng didn't feel lost at all. Instead, he was very awake. Those old fellows in the universe, they were all life forms that existed since the birth of the universe. Just the countless years alone were enough to train their willpower. Luo Feng naturally wouldn't waste such a rare opportunity. Respect. Silver Eye nodded. If you can withstand this move of mine, I won't kill you. You let me take 3 moves, you take one of mine too. Luo Feng grinned, revealing his pure white teeth. Pung. One of the world rings that Luo Feng carried with him suddenly shattered. An incredibly strong energy emanated from it. A purple ancient bell floated beside Luo Feng, and within it, Extreme Rainbow Emperor had already ignited his undying body. The powerful energy from the igniting body was infused into the bell. Dang! A ripple visible to the naked eye, with light speed, swiftly rushed towards Silver Eye. This exceeded any spirit weapon's attack speed. And Luo Feng himself waved his hand and threw out 8 stars coated with Fei-Ma poison. The demon note was too fast, Silver Eye couldn't even dodge in time, and was hit. Pung! Silver Eye's body too began to split open, with many cracks appearing, following which they began to heal. However, the 8 beams of light pierced through the cracked body and corroded it, after which the 8 beams of light turned and flew towards Luo Feng. Let's go! Luo Feng immediately grabbed Extreme Rainbow Emperor the moment he threw out the 8 black balls. With a flap of his wings, his speed immediately rose to the limit and he fled into the distance. The 8 black balls too flew towards Luo Feng. These spirit weapon stars were naturally faster than Luo Feng's. immediately returning to Luo Feng's palm. Master, he actually tricked you. The black-armored servant raged. We can't let him go. Silver Eye's body completely condensed, standing in mid-air watching Luo Feng flee. He revealed a smile. I've already said, if he withstands that move of mine, I won't chase after him. What's more, how do I chase? He's already far away. I can't stop time to stop him, and my speed can't match his. How do I chase? The black-armored servant was dumbfounded. Right, the human was the fastest in the ice prison. In terms of speed, even the 5 tycoons could only admit defeat. Just like that, the black-armored servant couldn't believe it. He had never seen his master at a disadvantage before. I attacked him 3 times and took 1. It wasn't a loss. However, this move was vicious. Silver Eye felt the slight damage on his body, but he didn't care. It wasn't even 1/1000th of the damage. Suddenly a voice resounded in his mind. Silver Eye, don't you really want an anonymous virtual universe account? I find you pleasing to the eye. I'll give you a chance to get it. It's very simple. A treasure can be exchanged for an anonymous virtual universe account sensor. 3 days later, I'll arrange for my underlings to go to your place. Whether you want to trade or not, it's up to you. Luo Feng's voice resounded in his mind. Silver Eye was stunned, looking at the distant human who had just flown out of the space lock and immediately teleported away. Crafty human, greedy human. Silver Eye couldn't help but think. Even though he really wanted an anonymous virtual universe account sensor, using a treasure to exchange for it, the treasures within the ice prison were extremely rare. Luckily, the Undyings captured back then weren't normal, hence there were so many treasures. Let's go. Silver Eye released the space lock, bringing his underlings and teleporting away. Luo Feng and Silver Eye, both parties had already left. However, the distant ice prison warriors who were secretly watching were all shocked. The human was actually targeted by the Silver Eye and didn't die. This was something even the 10 emperors couldn't do. When the 10 met the 5 tycoons, they would all stay far away, even burning their god energy to escape. The heavens have flipped. Without a doubt, this battle, when the battle between Sky Wolf and Ice Prison, the human will be ranked 6th, the strongest below the 5 tycoons. The surrounding Ice Prison experts were all restless. They couldn't help but discuss this matter with some of their good friends who often supported each other. This was definitely a rare event in the quiet ice prison. Luo Feng, an extreme rainbow emperor, immediately teleported back to the cave deep within the snowland. An emperor invincible is really strong. Master, I burned my god body and relied on the treasure purple clock, yet it only caused his body to split open. It didn't even completely shatter, much less injure him. Extreme Rainbow Emperor couldn't help but say, that's ridiculous. His body's foundation is over 100 times yours. Even if you burned your god energy, you wouldn't be much stronger than his normal form. Luo Feng shook his head. I took the chance to use 8 stars covered in Feymal poison. However, I can feel his energy. I'm afraid it didn't even hurt 1%. At least I can't feel his energy weaken at all. That's right, his god body is so strong, and his height is 30 m, much taller than a human. His god energy is so dense. Even if he were to consume 1 kilogram of Feymal poison, he probably wouldn't die. Luo Feng thought. If a human invincible emperor drank 1 kilogram of Fey Mo poison, he might die. However, Silver Eye was a special life form. His body was huge. It wasn't that easy to erode him clean. The last message I sent him, I don't know if he would agree, if he could use an incomparably cheap account outside to exchange for a treasure. That would be really lucky. You don't say it might actually work. Luo Feng thought. Chapter 952. The warriors in the ice prison, including the 5 tycoons, had a strong thirst for contact with the outside world. I'll know in 3 days. Luo Feng didn't think any further and started to reflect on the battle. The treasure is indeed extremely powerful. I created a technique to adapt to it, causing its power to explode, allowing me to suppress that Thunder Emperor. Luo Feng thought, 1 treasure was indeed enough for the weak to defeat the strong. Of course, if he's as strong as Silver Eye, then I have no other way. Even if G Rainbow Emperor ignites his god body and uses the purple clock in the Fey Mo poison, the threat to him is extremely small. The main reason is he doesn't have a defensive treasure. Only the stars I throw out can hurt him. Luo Feng thought. Pitiful. If this was the outside world, how could an emperor invincible not have a defensive treasure? There were very few treasures in the ice prison. More than 12,000 king-ranked formidable martial artists and formidable martial artists with special means were imprisoned in the ice prison. Coincidentally, some of them had precious treasures. After a long time, these precious treasures were all in the hands of the most powerful martial artists in the ice prison. Even so, these so-called invincible emperors and close to invincible emperors had far fewer treasures than the outside world. Just like the human seven-blade emperors, they had 7 blades and a set of treasures, along with defensive treasures and escape treasures, and even that golden pool, many other treasures. In terms of personal strength, Thunder Emperor and Whitebone Emperor may be comparable to the 7-blade emperors and Black Razor Emperor. However, in a real-life or death battle, the 7-blade emperors, Life Destruction Emperor, and other geniuses nurtured by their races were enough to make these ice prison prisoners despair. Strength is important, treasures are important too. Even if I become the Universe Lord, it's still the same. Luo Feng thought. Treasures, my teacher Mountain Passenger provided me with many. As for strength, I'll have to train myself. 3 days later, Northern Ice Prison, the peak of that ice mountain. Master, G Rainbow Emperor stood at the foot of the mountain and respectfully asked the metallic man beside him. Stay here. If you notice anything amiss, immediately flee. The metallic man ordered. Yes, Master, Zenith Rainbow King replied. After which, the metallic man began to climb the mountain leisurely. The metallic man was Luo Feng. Of course, Luo Feng used techniques similar to the Demon Clan. When the Demon Clan roamed the universe, especially when riding universe ships, their bodies were too large and unsuitable. Hence, their bodies were hidden within their world rings, using a thread of consciousness to control the puppet bodies to handle various matters. Luo Feng split a bit of his consciousness and entered the puppet body. Even if the Silver Eye destroyed the puppet body in a fit of rage, it wouldn't affect Luo Feng at all. I haven't climbed in a long time. Under the pressure of the ice purgatory, it's a bit difficult to climb the mountain. The metal man climbed slowly. Suddenly, a black-armored figure appeared out of thin air. It was the black-armored servant. You came. The metallic man spoke, but the voice was completely Luo Feng's. Before coming here, Luo Feng adjusted the puppet's voice. It's you. The black-armored servant was enraged. I didn't expect you to come in person. Master thought you would send a servant, so he sent me to bring you. The black-armored servant said angrily. Isn't it better if I do it? Luo Feng said. Let's go. The black-armored servant brought Luo Feng's puppet body and vanished into thin air. When they appeared again, they were already within the majestic palace. Luo Feng raised his head and looked through the puppet body's vision system. He could see that tall god Silver Eye. Back then when Luo Feng first saw Silver Eye, it was considered equal treatment. He could watch with the puppet body. However, Luo Feng felt that the puppet body was affected by the pressure, and the vision system was blurry. Silver Eye, retract your pressure. My puppet body can't take it. If you break my puppet body, I won't be able to trade with you. Luo Feng shouted. You human. Silver Eye purposely retracted his pressure. With his strength, he could probably blow up a planet with a single breath. Hence, he purposely controlled his pressure so that it wouldn't affect the weak puppet body. Haha, Silver Eye, you retracted your pressure. Looks like you're preparing for this trade. Luo Feng said, Aren't you afraid I'll just steal the sensor? Silver Eye said, Steal it? Ha! Is it because you're a special life form and have never experienced technology before? Or is it because you've been in the ice prison for too long that you're unfamiliar with the outside world? My virtual universe anonymous accounts, especially these permanent ones, have extremely strict controls. Of course, I can easily apply for many. However, I can only bring very few to the ice prison. I'll give you one now, but I can also apply to close your authority, causing you to be unable to connect to the virtual universe. Luo Feng said, if I trade with you, and you close your authority in the future, what then? Silver Eye asked. Relax, I won't do such a thankless thing that would make me a huge enemy. Luo Feng said, you have to believe in my reputation. You should know that with my strength, I have quite a position amongst the human race. I won't throw away my reputation just for an account censor. All right. However, exchanging a treasure for an anonymous account censor is too much. Silver Eye said, I want to exchange for 3 censors. I only have a total of 2 censors. I'm still waiting to do other business. Luo Feng said, just one. Anyway, as long as you can use them. Why do you need so many? If you have friends who want to use them, you can lend them to them. Silver Eye was naturally cold and silent. In terms of negotiations, he indeed couldn't compare to humans. If it wasn't for the treasure and the anonymous account censor being important, he wouldn't have fought for it. 2. Silver Eye said, just one, no more negotiations. Luo Feng said, Silver Eye, even if you get 2, it's useless. Don't tell me you want to sell one. Haha, if I find out you're going to sell it, I can totally close off one of the censors. Anyways, you're the only one I'm allowed to trade with. All right, just one. Silver Eye gave up. His negotiation ability was indeed weak. So greedy, so crafty. Silver Eye sat high up at his throne. He couldn't help but say, crafty, too crafty, despicable human. The 2 servants beside scolded softly. That was a treasure. Every treasure in the ice prison wasn't easy to obtain. Even though the 10 emperors had them too, they were all incomparably astute. They realized the 5 tycoons had long hidden far away. Even though their strength couldn't compare to the 5 tycoons, if they really wanted to escape, it wouldn't be easy for the 5 tycoons to catch them. This is a censor. Luo Feng flipped his hand and threw out an arm computer towards Silver Eye on the throne. However, the moment it was thrown, it began to descend. Silver Eye was shocked. His god energy immediately wrapped around the arm computer. Be careful. Silver Eye couldn't help but say. The pressure of this ice prison is too strong. Luo Feng laughed. My puppet body is too weak. All right, I've given you the censor. Where's the treasure? Let me try first. Silver Eye tried first, swiftly recognizing the owner. His consciousness then connected to the ARM computer and entered the virtual universe. Below the throne, the metallic man Luo Feng said, this anonymous account, I've already opened up 80,000 virtual game accounts for you, just in case you don't know how to use it. Also, the scanning function of the computer has been turned off. Don't activate it. The moment it does, it will scan your body and you'll appear in the virtual universe as you do in reality. If you don't activate it, this is one of the human body templates. Of course, you can shrink your god body to human form and activate the scanning function. Interesting. Silver Eye laughed. Your human virtual games are really interesting. Silver Eye gazed at Luo Feng and laughed. It's endless loneliness in the ice prison. To be able to enter the virtual universe, I have nothing to fear. Luo Feng laughed. This is a treasure. With a wave of his hand, Silver Eye tossed out a precious treasure. It was a jade-green axe that was about 3 meters tall. Silver Eye couldn't help but say, you're too greedy. Happy trade. Luo Feng laughed. Silver Eye, you have to be happy. Because I'm preparing to go into closed-door training. With my stealth techniques, the other warriors in the ice prison will have a hard time finding me. The next time I come out, I don't know if it'll be a few hundred years or even longer. Even if the other 4 tycoons want to trade with me, they'll have to wait for me to come out. Go, don't be happy here. Silver Eye said, send the human away. Yes, master. The black-armored servant brought Luo Feng and teleported away. Silver Eye stared into the distance as a smile appeared on his face. He had obtained a total of 2 treasures in the icy purgatory, but he had only used one of them. He hadn't even used the other one. Even if he valued the one he had, the power he could unleash was only average. This was because with his current battle techniques, even if he relied on his innate gifts and ultimate techniques, the power he could unleash was far greater than if he used the treasures. Virtual universe, that virtual game, there's so many lives. How lively. A virtual game actually has over 1 trillion lives playing. Silver Eye split a bit of his consciousness to continue playing the game. After being lonely for too long, he had to adjust. This virtual universe account to Silver Eye was indeed more useful than the treasures. Eastern Ice Prison, within a cave deep in the snow. Back then, I had a sudden inspiration to transmit. I didn't expect to actually acquire a treasure. This is a treasure I hunted and killed in the Star Tower. Other than the muddy ice net, all my other treasures added together don't even amount to 1 treasure. Luo Feng held the treasure, Jade Green Axe. It was extremely thin, almost like it was carved out of ice jade. Just looking at the axe blade, Luo Feng could feel its terrifying power. Luo Feng flipped his hand and kept it, following which his consciousness connected to the virtual universe. Within Luo Feng's personal training grounds, standing in space, Luo Feng thought, my strength still has room to grow. Whether it's the bright moon strategy or the 10,000 star diagram, I've only created the first form. And now that I've completed the second part of the 7 transformations, I can totally use the second part as the foundation and the beast god conception to create the second form. The second form would be more profound than the first. However, his current level was much higher. Let's begin. Luo Feng began to prepare to create the technique. However, just as he was about to find an opponent to battle, a golden-robed silhouette appeared in space. It was the primal Chaos City leader. Teacher, Luo Feng bowed respectfully. 6 chapters completed. Tomato spent half a day preparing, writing from 4 in the afternoon to 5 in the morning. With his promise fulfilled, Tomato felt relaxed. However, it seemed like Tomato wouldn't be able to wake up in the morning tomorrow. Hence, he applied for a leave of absence. Tomorrow's updates would be at night. If he said it a day earlier, it wouldn't be considered late. Tomato was too tired. There's no need to wait for him tomorrow afternoon. Tomato will definitely be sleeping. At night, everyone will watch the updates. As for the monthly votes and recommendation votes, he would vote if he could. Chapter 953. Luo Feng was puzzled within. Didn't the primal Chaos City teacher tell him to meet him after 10 battles? Right now, he had only battled 2 battles. Why did the teacher personally come? And the primal Chaos City leader wasn't that impatient. The long years had made him extremely patient. You want to create the second form? The primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng. Yes, Luo Feng said respectfully. Your disciple feels that the first form of the Bright Moon Plan and the 10,000 star diagram are still not enough. Hence, I want to create the second form. You want to create both of them? The primal Chaos City leader continued. Yes. Luo Feng didn't hesitate at all. The primal Chaos City leader creased his eyebrows, saying solemnly, have you battled in the past few days? I've battled twice. The first was a lucky win. The second was a loss. Luo Feng said. What you learned? The primal Chaos City leader asked. Your disciple has learnt from these 2 battles. One's own strength and treasures are both very important. Luo Feng said respectfully. If one's strength isn't enough, then even with treasures, one won't be able to unleash their full power. And if one doesn't have treasures, then against an opponent of the same level, one will be at a huge disadvantage. My treasures are still alright, but my own strength can still improve a little. Within the vast space of the training grounds, Luo Feng and the primal Chaos City leader stood in space, one asking and one answering. The battles in reality, don't tell me you don't feel. Walking the Spirit Reader path is a waste of time? The primal Chaos City leader said solemnly, his voice rumbling, immediately shaking Luo Feng's soul. However, Luo Feng's willpower was extremely strong. Waste of time? Luo Feng shook his head. No, your disciple actually feels that my strength has increased greatly. It's very suitable for this path. What a joke. He had a Spirit Reader treasure star map that was specially used for attacking. Even if he created his own techniques, it would still be hard for him to beat an Emperor-level warrior. However, with the star map, he would be able to suppress the Thunder Emperor. The primal Chaos City leader couldn't help but shake his head as he heard. Give up. Give up on the spirit reader path and focus on the fighter path. The primal chaos city leader sighed. Luo Feng was shocked as he looked at the primal chaos city leader. After being under his tutelage for so long, the city leader had always guided him. Why? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. My willpower is extremely strong, and I've also received the demon node inheritance. On the path of a spirit reader, you can definitely walk very far. But on the path of a warrior, you can walk even further. The primal chaos city master said. Please speak, teacher. Luo Feng bowed. The primal chaos city leader looked at the disciple before him. He was very clear that with Luo Feng's temperament and willpower, it was impossible to make him give up with just one sentence. Then I'll tell you. The primal chaos city leader said solemnly. Firstly, you're a black warrior. Secondly, you cultivate the beast god Tao. Luo Feng listened carefully. The black warrior has already become a legend in the Blood River continent. The primal chaos city master sighed. As long as you're able to become a black warrior, it means that your genes are extremely compatible with the beast god's bloodline. Then in the future, using the beast god's blood, the amount of genes you can raise will be even more shocking. Genes are the foundation. With a foundation that is 10 times, 100 times, or even 1,000 times stronger, how can we fight? And the beast gods that died in Blood River continent were all close combat experts. You must remember, any spirit reader that walks the path of the beast god will never be able to reach the peak. The primal chaos city leader looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was stunned. Never be able to reach the peak? To reach the peak, a being comparable to the beast god. That has to be a fighter. The primal chaos city leader said, You are a black warrior. Naturally, you have an incomparably rare body, training in the beast god path so quickly. Obviously, your comprehension and talent is extremely high. With so many talents, how can you let them down? If you walk the path of a fighter, you have hopes of becoming a universe lord in the future. Even though this path is extremely difficult, you will definitely succeed. If you blindly train and want to become a universe lord, the chances are extremely low. Luo Feng stood there silent. Some of the weaker races in the universe don't even know this secret. Some train in the beast god path and still walk the spirit reader path. What a joke, they're destined to never succeed. Look at that Hiroto, finally stuck at the last step, unable to take it. The primal chaos city leader looked at Luo Feng. Think about it well. Once you're done, tell me your answer. After which, the primal chaos city leader turned and stood there silently. Luo Feng too was silent. I have to walk the path of a fighter to have hopes of becoming a being comparable to the beast god? Luo Feng thought. Black warrior, it means that my genes and the beast god bloodline are extremely compatible? Right, I've trained in the 9-level secret manual. My genes have evolved a few times, far exceeding the normal human bloodline. That's why I was able to absorb 10 crystals. What should I choose? One path was chosen by the primal chaos city teacher. A fighter walking the path of the beast god. In the future, I have a chance of becoming a being comparable to the beast god. That's a universe lord. One path was chosen by teacher mountain passenger. Spirit reader, training in the 9-level secret manual. As for what techniques I create, he doesn't care about me at all. All I have to do is wait until I'm strong enough to control the Star Tower. Mountain Passenger's 2 disciples are both universe lords. I believe this path has a higher chance of becoming a universe lord. And there's also one of the most powerful treasures, the Star Tower. What do I choose? Many scenes flashed through Luo Feng's mind. Haha, what's there to worry about? Since these 2 paths have hopes of becoming a universe lord, then I'll walk both paths. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. I'm different from Bolin. Bolin split his attention between 2 origin laws. And I'm also researching the beast god path. Only one is a fighter's path, and the other is a spirit reader's path. Training both at the same time, it'll help me research the beast god path. Luo Feng thought. In a vast space, the primal chaos city leader's back faced Luo Feng, standing in space for a while. Teacher, Luo Feng said respectfully, have you decided? The primal chaos city leader's voice was calm. I've decided. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Your disciple has decided to train both the fighter and spirit path. If I'm really wrong in the future, I'll give up on one. Since you've already decided, I won't say any more. I'll see how far you can go as a fighter and spirit reader. The primal Chaos City leader turned and looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, too, looked at his teacher. Their gazes met. Luo Feng didn't show any signs of fear. Very good. The primal Chaos City leader nodded. It's fine if I'm wrong, but I have to stick to my heart and focus. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. Then continue creating your absolute arts. I'll target your weaknesses and arrange for opponents for you. The primal Chaos City leader finished and vanished. Luo Feng couldn't help but kneel down. Thank you, teacher. This kneel was from the bottom of his heart. Even though he had gone against him, the primal Chaos City leader still encouraged and supported him. And when he created his own arts, the primal Chaos City leader even went to great lengths to arrange for opponents. This was actually a very taxing task. Maybe the primal Chaos City leader's teacher valued and nurtured him because of his race, but no matter what, the primal Chaos City leader had treated him well. Kindness, he had to remember it. With the ability, with the opportunity, he would definitely repay it. Let's begin. Luo Feng's body shook and vanished. In mid-air, a majestic, golden-horned beast appeared. Following his old path, he first created the bright moon strategy, then the 10,000 star diagram. In a distant, desolate area of the universe, within the Wuhua secret regions, Ice Prison Starbelt, Ice Prison, Luo Feng first broke the Death God's finger from one of the 5 Leviathans' silver eye, after which he withstood the silver eye and finally escaped. This news naturally began to spread within the Ice Prison. However, the Ice Prison didn't have any advanced communication methods. Even Luo Feng's large scanning device was affected by the Ice Prison's interference. One could understand, setting up an internal virtual world wasn't practical at all. Communication lagged behind, and the strong often had enmity with each other, even killing each other the moment they met. Only good friends or those with similar strength would occasionally gather. Hence the speed at which this news spread was extremely slow. Even after half a year, not even a third of the strong in the Ice Prison knew of this news. In the southern Ice Prison, in the middle of the endless snow, there was a towering palace. Pieces of ice were inserted around the palace. These pieces of ice were randomly inserted around the palace. Each piece of ice was engraved with Demon Clan characters. Clearly, it was the ranking of the Ice Prison. This palace undoubtedly housed a very special being within the Ice Prison. Skywolf. Skywolf, one of the 5 Leviathans. At the same time, he was also the one who compiled the rankings, and he was also the one with the best temper in the entire Prison of Ice. It was said that the heavenly wolf of the demon race's royal family was extremely savage, but this heavenly wolf, one of the big shots, rarely killed. His good temper was something that had been publicly acknowledged for a long time. However, if one angered him, he would still kill. After all, to be able to be ranked as one of the 5 Leviathans, he relied on a few shocking battles in the Ice Prison to get there. Master, looks like the rankings are going to change again. There's a new battle? On the palace's incomparably huge throne made of ice sat a 10 kilometers long demon that was like a mountain range. Its entire body was covered in snow-white fur. The tips of it, however, had a tinge of gold, causing its entire body to be enveloped in a layer of gold light. On its forehead were 3 peculiar engravings, almost like 3 blade scars. He was Skywolf. Yes, it's a battle between the human and Thunder Emperor and the human and Silver Eye. 5 servants stood in front of the hall. These 5 servants were all armored monsters, and they were only at the Marquis realm. They had been brought here when Tian Lang had been imprisoned. Human. The majestic Sky Wolf on the throne suddenly raised its head, its green eyes glowing fiercely as it looked down. Where is the human? Hurry and find that human, hurry. Master, this battle has been going on for more than half a year. The 5 servants were stunned. More than half a year? Sky Wolf let out a series of angry growls. Back then, when a human had just appeared in the Ice Prison, Silver Eye and the others had openly searched for the human, and Sky Wolf had also secretly sent his subordinates to search for the human. However, after a long time, they had not been able to find the human and had given up. Sky Wolf did not expect to finally receive news of the human this time, but it was news from more than half a year ago. This cannot go on. Sky Wolf suddenly stood up, its four hooves on the throne, and a boundless aura emanated, scaring the 5 servants so much that they knelt down. Chapter 954. The 5 servants knelt before the throne, not daring to make a sound. Sirius, who was standing on the huge throne, had a ferocious glint in his green eyes. Even if this human appears again, by the time I receive the news and go to look for him, I'm afraid that this human will disappear again. Sirius immediately realized this and quickly made a decision. Prepare the ice, Sirius said in a low voice. Yes, master. The 5 kneeling servants responded in unison. The leader of the group immediately flipped his hand and respectfully placed a large, well-carved block of ice on the ground. Sirius walked down from the throne and strolled up to the block of ice. Tell me about this human's battle with the lightning monarch and Silver Eye, Sirius said. Yes, master. This human first fought with the lightning monarch, and after a few exchanges, the lightning monarch was actually suppressed by the human. Moreover, the human's speed was terrifying, and he couldn't escape. He was forced to ignite his divine body. After igniting his divine body, the lightning monarch still couldn't match the human's speed. The 5 servants narrated the information one after another. Although it was rather brief, they had already gotten to the point. Sirius lowered his head and looked at the block of ice. Crackle, crackle, crackle. Demonic characters appeared out of thin air on the block of ice, and the rankings were quickly determined. Rank 1, Blood Mantis Rank 2, Sirius Rank 3, Sirius Rank 4, Black Wind Rank 5, Serpentine Rank 6, Human. Many of the 6 experts were named according to their race or clan. For example, Serpentine and Human were clan names, and Sirius was also a clan name. As for Blood Mantis, Silver Eye, Black Wind, they were also named according to their appearances in the icy prison. This naming method was very common because there was only one Serpentine Dark in the icy prison and only one human. The ranking of the experts in the ice prison was quickly determined. Every expert was accompanied by some information and introduction. There were more than 800 experts, which almost filled the entire ice block. Only the top of the ice block was left empty. Seeing this, the 5 servants were secretly puzzled. They secretly transmitted to each other. Previously, Master carved the rankings from the top of the block of ice. Why is it different this time? That's right. Master has carved the rankings countless times, but I've never seen Master do this. In their discussion, at the top of the ice block, a series of demon race words began to appear. I swear that I will protect any expert who brings humans to my Sirius Wolf tribe forever. If I see this human, I will definitely not kill him. This oath shall be witnessed by all the experts in the entire ice purgatory through this ranking ice tablet. All right. Sirius raised his head. Make 900 copies of the ranking ice steel and send them to the mountain peak. Yes, master. The 5 servants replied respectfully. They swiftly copied the carvings with their undying spirit methods. Naturally, they produced 900 ice tablets, following which one of them brought these ice tablets and flew out of the palace, heading towards a mountain peak near the ice ocean. That was where the rankings were determined. Battles were forbidden there. This was something all the experts knew. The ranking ice steel was silently taken away by the powerhouses who passed by. Naturally, the news of the Sky Wolf tribe's bounty spread throughout the ice prison. The protection of Sirius? If I can obtain the protection of Sirius, as long as Sirius doesn't die, who can kill me? Sirius won't break his oath, right? How can that be? Sirius used the ranking ice steel to announce it to the entire ice prison. All the warriors know. How could he break his oath for us weaklings and not care about his face? And Sirius has always been very proud. He doesn't even bother to act against us weaklings. His good temper is famous. Hurry and find a human. Right, find a human. In the entire ice prison, other than the top 10 warriors, which one of the others didn't live in fear. Even White Bone Emperor and Thunder Emperor were afraid of meeting the 5 tycoons, much less the other imprisoned warriors. Even though they were weak, their numbers made up over 90% of the ice prison warriors. To find Luo Feng, naturally they would go crazy. However, Luo Feng's base was hidden deep within the snowland, with a mini-scanning device. Even if the other warriors reached the entrance, their naked eyes and god energy wouldn't be able to find him, unless they attacked and destroyed the base, forcing Luo Feng to come out. The craze to find the human lasted for a few hundred years. Gradually, the madness began to subside. However, there were still a few weaker emperors who would go search for him, because the moment they found him, it meant they could live a stable life. Within a vast god country, in the endless ocean, there were many islands. On one of the islands, black-clothed Luo Feng sat cross-legged on the beach of the island, looking at the waves crashing and retreating time and time again. As for the golden-horned beast, it was in its internal world, copying the beast god statue. In the blink of an eye, 1,000 years have passed. My beast god conception has already reached the 20th level of the heavenly bridge 1,000 years ago. I originally thought it would be very difficult to improve further. However, I didn't expect that even though my progress was slow, it never stopped and has been slowly improving. Black-clothed Luo Feng smiled. However, the difference between the 20th and 21st level is too huge. I'm afraid I'll have to spend 10 times the time of the 19th to 20th. The beast god conception relied on copying the large and small beast god statues to form. Of course, Luo Feng's fusion origin law comprehension was very important too. Without that comprehension, just copying would be hard to achieve much. The origin law comprehension was the tree's roots and trunk. The conception was the tree's branches and leaves. Only when the roots were deep enough and the trunk was thick and tall enough could the leaves grow taller and more luxuriant. This was a mutually reinforcing process. With origin law comprehension as the foundation, one could comprehend and grasp higher levels of conception. The higher the conception, it would also have an effect on one's origin law comprehension. Time passed. The golden-horned beast fully focused on studying the 7 transformations of the god, copying the statues, and comprehending the beast god conception. Luo Feng's earth body was studying the bright moon strategy and the 10,000-star Tao map. With the primal Chaos City leader providing opponents that targeted the weaknesses of Luo Feng's techniques. Luo Feng's techniques were constantly perfected, improving extremely quickly. He could use the second part of the tendon part as the foundation to create his attacks. Just the usage of the origin laws alone was already extremely complicated. Luo Feng spent a total of 1,600 years to successfully create the second part of the Bright Moon strategy. Blade techniques, killing Wu wings, they could all be unleashed. With one slash, it was like a huge blade slicing through the sky, its power endless, destroying everything in its path. Tyrannical beyond compare. However, when Luo Feng switched to researching the second form of the 10,000-star Tao layout diagram, he suffered. According to the experience of creating the first form, Luo Feng believed that he could create the second form of the 10,000-star Tao layout diagram within a tenth of the time of creating the second form of the Bright Moon strategy, since he already had the experience. However, the actual process exceeded Luo Feng's imagination. The first part uses the first part as the foundation. It's much simpler. The second part uses the second part as the foundation. However, it's much more complicated. Creating the Bright Moon strategy and the 10,000-star Tao map, they both became much more complicated. Hence, the experience from creating the second part of the Bright Moon strategy is much weaker. Luo Feng found it troublesome. Close combat techniques and spirit weapon techniques had a fundamental difference. It was a completely different battle direction. As the technique became more complicated, the difference between the two would become greater. The research experience would become less and less useful. Luo Feng spent a total of 500 years to create the second part of the 10,000-star Tao map, That was a full 3/10 of the time for the second part of the Bright Moon strategy, much more than the 1/10 he expected. Virtual Universe Lightning Island, at the highest point of the endless energy currents in the palace. Luo Feng stepped through the door of the palace. Walking within the palace, he stopped halfway and said respectfully, "Teacher, your disciple has successfully created his technique. Please give me some pointers." "You've realized right." A voice resounded from within the endless energy currents. "I've realized." Luo Feng said respectfully, "Your disciple originally thought that with the experience of studying the origin laws and creating close combat techniques, it would be much easier to create the spirit weapon technique. In truth, it's indeed much easier. However, it's far from as easy as I thought. What you've created is an absolute technique. It's not just any ordinary technique, it's two fundamentally different techniques, one close combat technique, the other spirit weapon technique. The further you go, the bigger the difference. When you create the first part, you can still learn from each other. For the second part, it's still effective. By the time you reach the third part, it's extremely weak. The fourth part has no effect at all. The fifth part will instead slow down your creation of both techniques. The sixth part will become very difficult. The seventh part also represents the techniques of a universe lord. I'm afraid you won't be able to create it." Luo Feng revealed a look of shock. Multitasking, having two techniques in your heart at the same time. At the start, they can still assist each other, but towards the end, they will affect each other, making it incredibly hard for you to even create another technique. You think the strong are afraid of wasting more time? Wrong. The strong have eternal life. Spending twice the amount of time is nothing. What they are afraid of is splitting their attention and never having the chance to reach the pinnacle. The primal chaos city leader said, "Are you still persevering with your thoughts?" Luo Feng nodded. "Persevering. Then continue persevering. You still have the right to make mistakes." A voice resounded from within the endless energy currents. "I hope you won't be like this when you reach the fourth part." Luo Feng only bowed, not making a sound. "Go. Use your achievements to prove yourself right." A voice resounded from within the endless energy currents. "Yes, teacher." Luo Feng bowed, thinking within, he would definitely use his achievements to prove himself. So, Luo Feng vanished from mid-air, his consciousness returning to reality. Eastern Ice Prison, deep within the snow caves. Over 2,000 years, Luo Feng had been sitting crossed-legged within the room. Finally, he opened his eyes. "Teacher Primal Chaos City Leader, just watch." Because of his teacher's words before, Luo Feng didn't have the joy of creating an absolute technique. All he had was battle intent, a battle intent to fight. "If I'm wrong, I'll have to use reality to prove it to me. Monday, I'll ask for recommendation tickets. Everyone has one." Chapter 955. Luo Feng left the cave and arrived 10,000 kilometers above in the snow. On the snow, Luo Feng walked step by step. Universe lords are the pinnacle of beings in the universe. However, there are still differences in strength. The strong ones are like the primal chaos city leader teacher. The middle ones are like second senior flame emperor. The low ones are like Pu Ti. Of course, they are all beings that trillions of races look up to. However, obviously, even though Flame Emperor has two treasures, he doesn't have a treasure like the Star Tower. Just like Pu Ti's treasure, he probably doesn't even compare to second senior. The Star Tower has caused the four pinnacle races to fight intensely. Just its own strength alone is enough to stand tall in the space of the alien battlefield. No one can shake it. Every moment, it consumes energy to maintain it, causing the 9 spiral nebula. That whirlpool can easily destroy a universe knight. Absolute treasure. Luo Feng nodded. Back then, Mountain Passenger said that when Luo Feng became a universe knight and gathered the last piece of the 9-level secret manual, he would be very close to activating the entire Star Tower. And he also said, as long as Luo Feng could activate the Star Tower, he would have the power to speak equally with the universe lords. Also, I relied on the Star Tower to speak equally with the universe lords when I was a knight. Luo Feng thought, since that's the case, I can't let down such a treasure. This is a true treasure that even the strongest warriors in the universe covet. Just taking out a random part is a star map. Just a random part of the control core is a soul treasure. Taking out the pearl, the 10,000 stars to the star tower. It was just a drop in the ocean. One could see the power of the star tower. The more he thought about it, Luo Feng felt that his spirit reader path wasn't wrong. And my teacher said that a fighter in spirit reader dual training is impossible to succeed in creating the seventh form. Luo Feng shook his head. Back then my teacher also said that no human has ever trained in the beast god path to become a universe lord. I think it's the other races in the universe that have done it. However, it's obviously a rare case. A rare case, how can it represent everything? I'm afraid my teacher was just trying to convince me and exaggerated. Luo Feng thought. On the snowy ground, Luo Feng silently walked step by step. His thoughts were complicated. Obviously, the primal Chaos City leader's word from before had affected him. Even though he didn't waver in front of his teacher, and his heart was indeed resolute, it was undeniable. The primal Chaos City leader was one of the top 3 beings of humanity. His words had a huge impact on Luo Feng. Hence, he couldn't help but think over and over again, becoming more resolute. The reason why he was so resolute was because he believed in himself and because Mountain Passenger was stronger than the primal Chaos City Lord. Luo Feng wasn't blind. If it wasn't for the Mountain Passenger, Luo Feng would have hesitated for a long time because of the primal Chaos City leader's words. On the peak of an undulating ice mountain, an inconspicuous figure was hidden behind the ice. His eyes were looking into the void in the distance, and he could clearly see hundreds of millions of kilometers away with a single glance. What's that? The blurry figure paused for a moment, and then suddenly dashed out. In a flash, it was already tens of millions of kilometers away in the snow. The figure condensed. It was a metallic life form, its entire body gleaming with a dull metallic luster. His eyes were like rubies, his body was hunched over, almost like a leopard that was bending over and standing. He was currently staring at a footprint in the snow. This footprint, I've never seen it before. Hunching over, he carefully examined it. As he examined it, his ruby eyes gleamed. Don't tell me. If it's really him, then I've really hit the jackpot. So, he immediately flew into the air and looked down, discovering another footprint 1,000 kilometers away. Following the direction of the footprints, he began to teleport short distances again and again as he rapidly chased after them. After teleporting dozens of times, when he appeared in midair again, he saw a figure walking on the snowy ground in the distance. The figure was not anxious at all and was just walking, each step covering thousands of kilometers. Ha! It's really a human. The metallic life's ruby eyes gleamed, extremely excited. No other warriors have discovered me. That's great. Ha! I finally don't have to live such fearful days anymore. Who? He immediately rushed down towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng walked on the snow, fiercely turning to look behind him. In the distance in midair, there was a silhouette rushing down. Luo Feng could see with one glance that the person was hunched over. He was about 2 m tall, his entire body gleaming with a dull gold color, and his ruby eyes, its rank 626 metallic, caught awe. In the ice prison, the strong slaughtered each other. If one wasn't on good terms with them, normally they wouldn't even dare get close. Just like how the weak wouldn't dare get close to the 10 emperors. If they got close and got killed, they could only blame themselves. A rank 626 punk dares to challenge me. Luo Feng extended his left hand. 52 black balls appeared in his palm. I've just created this second form. I'll let you have a taste. The second form was incredibly complex. Its power was extremely strong too. Just the origin law engravings alone required a total of 52 stars to be able to completely carry it. Rumble. The 52 stars in midair began to cause countless golden threads to appear, and instantly, a dazzling beast god, over 1,000 meters tall, appeared in midair. This beast god's entire body was solid, and all of its scales could be seen clearly. Of course, the aura of the beast god's long, scaled tail was the most powerful. Moreover, The scales on the other parts of the beast god's body seemed to be covered in a layer of dust, while the scales on its tail seemed brand new, emanating a mysterious aura of the loss. A tyrannical aura emanated, just the beast god appearing in mid-air. That tyrannical aura caused the space within a 1,000,000 kilometers area to tremble. Part of it was because of the 52 stars in the star map. Part of it was a powerful absolute art, and also part of it was because the beast god's conception had grown stronger over the past 2,000 years. The three combined. Its power was indeed tyrannical beyond belief. Wah, Kana, who was so excited that he was about to go crazy, was instantly scared out of his wits. He immediately teleported to a place hundreds of thousands of kilometers away. At the same time, he said, "Human, I have no ill intentions. I came here on behalf of the master of the southern icy hell, Heavenly Wolf." Luo Feng stood in the snow. In mid-air floated the tyrannical beast god. Luo Feng looked satisfactorily at the beast god. The reason why he unleashed this move upon seeing this little pawn was actually because he hadn't unleashed it in real life. Hence he was itching to use it. From the looks of it, its power was indeed very strong. Skywolf? Luo Feng looked at the distant metal warrior, after which he waved with his left hand. The beast god in mid-air immediately dispersed. The 52 stars swiftly descended from above, entering his palm and disappearing. Only then did the distant metal warrior carefully fly over, simultaneously smiling respectfully, flipping his hand and taking out an ice ranking tablet. "Lord Human, take a look and you'll know." Ranking? Luo Feng glanced over and saw the ice ranking tablet clearly. He also saw Sky Wolf's oath to all the warriors in the ice hell. He also saw that he was ranked 6. Why is Sky Wolf in such a rush to find me? And he even publicly swore that he wouldn't kill me. I'll go take a look. Luo Feng thought for a while and decided. Let's go, bring me there. Luo Feng looked at the metal warrior. The stooped metal kata was immediately overjoyed. He said happily, "Lord Human, I was lucky to be the first to meet you. I'll bring you to the Southern Ice Hell Leader's palace right now." Bringing Luo Feng, with a teleportation, they disappeared from the Eastern Ice Hell, arriving at the Southern Ice Hell. Luo Feng looked at the distant, majestic palace on the snow ground and the countless ice ranking tablets around it. "Lord Human, I don't dare to teleport directly into the palace. Let's fly over." Ka Tua said. "Let's go." Luo Feng nodded. So, 2 beams of light broke through the sky and flew towards the palace, immediately attracting the attention of the 2 servants at the entrance. Skywolf placed a total of 7 servants in the palace. 5 of them were brought in from the outside world back then. They usually did some small things for him. And the other 2 were always in charge of guarding the palace. They were the 2 warriors Sky Wolf killed in the Ice Hell, heavily injured to the point of almost falling into a deep sleep, and then his soul controlled them. Who dares to trespass into the Southern Ice Hell Leader's palace? The 2 Emperor's servants saw the 2 beams of light and immediately shouted, their voices rumbling. They took a closer look. Human, it's actually a human. They recognized him and couldn't help but to exchange glances. Their master really wanted to see a human. "I'm here to bring Lord Human." Ka Tua smiled as he landed. "So it's Ka Ta? You're quite lucky. You'll receive Master's eternal protection." One of the servants said, "Human, Master has waited for you for over 2,000 years. Follow me. Metal Ka Tua, come with us." The servant brought Luo Feng and Ka Tua into the palace. Luo Feng observed everything. When he entered the palace, he immediately saw the huge beast silhouette sitting on the huge throne in the majestic palace. The demon Imperial Sirius that was over 10 kilometers long was sitting on it. Of course, in terms of size, comparing Skywolf to the Golden Horn Beast was like comparing a mouse to an elephant. Human. Skywolf's jade eyes were already opened, gazing below. "Skywolf." Luo Feng looked at Skywolf, smiling. "You're in such a rush to find me, even making such an oath to all the warriors in the Ice Hell. I wonder what's the matter." Of course there's a matter. Skywolf's jade eyes turned to look at Ka Ta. Ka-Tuo's body bowed even more, appearing very respectful. Sky Wolf said slowly, Ka-Ta, you found the human and brought him here. Yes, Ka-Tuo said. Good. From today on, you'll live around the palace. No warrior will dare touch you. Sky Wolf said slowly. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Lord Sky Wolf. Ka-Tuo was extremely excited, his body slightly trembling. He, who was ranked around 600, was definitely one of the weakest in the Ice Hell. He lived in fear for so long, knowing that he would receive Sky Wolf's protection if he found a human. He often went looking for him. Go! Sky Wolf didn't want to talk too much with Ka-Tuo. Ka-Tuo bowed respectfully, and then he was filled with joy, even bowing to Luo Feng to thank him before leaving the palace. Luo Feng sighed to himself at the tragedy of the weak in the Ice Hell. Rumble. The palace's gate also rumbled as it closed. The gate is closed. The other warriors have left. Other than you, I'm your servant. Whatever you want, you can say it now. Luo Feng looked at Sky Wolf, who was sitting on the throne. Chapter 956. On the ice throne, Sirius gazed down at Luo Feng, his eyes gleaming with a smile. He let out a voice that resounded throughout the majestic palace. Human, I invited you here. You should have guessed it too. I wish to purchase an anonymous virtual universe sensor. You should understand how much I, who has been locked up in the ice prison for countless years, want to interact with the outside world. You are a demon. I am a human. Luo Feng looked up at Sirius. Sirius, you should know. Our two races are enemies. The virtual universe rejects your demon's consciousness. Even if you have the anonymous sensor, you still won't be able to enter the virtual universe. Different races, there was a fundamental difference in soul consciousness. The virtual universe was humanity's virtual universe. Demon, bug, automaton, and many other races, many wanted to borrow the virtual universe to send messages. However, as long as they were enemies with humanity, many of them couldn't even connect to the virtual universe. As for the other races that weren't enemies with humanity, even though they could use the virtual universe, their authority would be restricted and they would be monitored. Like the silver-eyed special life forms, their authority would at most be restricted, but they could still use it. I understand. Sirius's jade eyes looked at Luo Feng. However, you should know, even though I have no way, my servants have a way. Amongst my servants, there are still two that are friendly with humanity. They have the right to enter the virtual universe. What about your censor from before? Luo Feng asked. These crafty foreign races would think of ways to make use of humanity's virtual universe. After all, the virtual universe was simply too useful. Therefore, they would usually get an anonymous account censor. There was a small mistake. It was discovered by the virtual universe system, and its authority was sealed. Sirius said, No wonder. Luo Feng laughed. Even if they secretly thought of ways to control the human servants or the foreign race servants in the Great Alliance, the virtual universe system surveillance was extremely powerful. Even if they were to discover any clues, no matter how deep they hid, the moment they were discovered, the controlled servant would no longer have the right to connect to the virtual universe, and the censor's authority would be sealed too. They could even follow the clues to the virtual universes, coordinates, and directly capture them. Hence, the number of foreign race spies captured and killed was uncountable. However, the other 5 great races still tirelessly used the virtual universe to secretly build all sorts of information networks. I don't have an anonymous account censor. Luo Feng shook his head. You can fool the other alien races with this kind of lie, but our Yao race has been fighting against your human race for countless years. How can we not know? On the ice throne, Sirius's green eyes stared at Luo Feng. A simple sensor with the AI you carry with you. You can easily create one. The important thing is that the sensor has the authority to connect, and with your identity, you can easily apply for an anonymous account in the virtual universe. Sirius gazed at Luo Feng. Don't worry, I won't make things difficult for you. You two know the other alien races in the virtual universe have countless spy and information systems. Even though many have been discovered and destroyed, Many of the information lines have been destroyed, and the losses are huge. Many of the alien races are still secretly building their own intelligence systems. Skywolf looked at Luo Feng. With so many spies, one more wouldn't make a difference, right? Luo Feng stood below the throne and listened, staring at him. You want to contact the demon race? Out? Sirius gazed at Luo Feng. They faced each other from afar. Haha, there's no point in hiding it. Of course you can guess it. Right, I want to go out. Sirius said, even though I don't have much confidence in the information network I know from countless years ago, I still want to give it a try. I want to go out. You think I'll help you, alien race? Luo Feng said. It's not help, it's a trade. Sirius said, an anonymous account in the virtual universe. If it's outside, it's too easy to get one. Hence, selling an account to me isn't a crime at all. You didn't even help me spread the news. You only sold one account. There are countless accounts being sold in the human world every day. Some of them are secretly bought by the alien races. Luo Feng looked at him. What Sirius said was right. Selling accounts was indeed a very common thing. Of course, I won't let you lose out. Sirius said, I'm willing to use a treasure to exchange with you. Treasure? Luo Feng frowned and looked at Sirius. What a huge deal. Sirius raised his claw slightly, and a completely black stone rod floated. The two ends of the rod had beautiful carvings on them. It looked more like a work of art than a weapon. However, the energy emitted from the entire rod reverberated throughout the entire palace. A treasure to exchange for an anonymous censor. Sirius looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was silent. Human world, you could buy as many of these censors as you want. You're only selling one. Sirius said, you and I are both trapped in this ice prison. My only wish is to leave it. What's more, I'm just an Emperor-level undying. Even if I leave, I won't be a threat to you humans. Not even mentioning an Emperor-level undying, even a universe knight, between the two pinnacle races of humanity and demon race, they wouldn't be a threat at all. Not selling. Luo Feng shook his head. You're not even selling a single treasure? Sirius suddenly stood up. His aura exploded. The other 5 servants in the palace stared angrily at Luo Feng. Luo Feng looked at Sirius and shook his head. Not selling. Luo Feng's thoughts weren't rigid. Selling one censor was actually a small matter. Moreover, in the universe, there were quite a few alien races that temporarily cooperated with each other due to special circumstances. Luo Feng didn't really mind selling one censor. However, that depended on the price. 1 treasure? Not enough. 2. I'll give you one of the treasures I use myself. Sirius roared and stared angrily at Luo Feng. 2 treasures for an incredibly cheap censor account outside. This is the biggest price I can afford. Human, you should be satisfied. Even in a universe secret region, who would be able to get 2 treasures so easily? Luo Feng looked up at the raging Sirius and said softly, not selling. Not selling? Sirius was shocked. Don't you know this is a treasure? There are only so many treasures in the entire ice prison. Even me, Silver Eye, and the others only have 2 to 3 treasures each. I have a total of 3. I only have the most important one, the most suitable one. As for the other 2, one of them was used by me. I gave them to you, but you actually... Sirius roared, don't go too far. The price is about right. These 2 treasures are enough to hire your human universe paragons, to kill your human powerhouses. Some unnecessary things have a price. It's not like I'm asking you to betray humanity. I'm just selling one censor. I'll ask you one more time. Are you going to sell the censor or not? Luo Feng looked at him and shook his head. Not selling. Sirius's jade eyes were immediately filled with madness. Rumble. The energy in the palace suddenly intensified. Sirius immediately vanished from the ice throne. Luo Feng too spread his silver wings and became a beam of light. Simultaneously, 52 black balls appeared in his palm. How? Sirius immediately appeared where Luo Feng was. His forehooves slightly bent, his jade eyes filled with killing intent as he stared at Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood in the distance, holding the 52 floating black balls. Looking at him, he said softly, Sirius, Didn't you swear to all the warriors in Ice Prison that you wouldn't make a move and kill? Humph. Breaking an oath depends on whether it's worth it or not. You despicable human, cutting off my hopes of leaving. Tell me, should I kill you? Sirius roared softly from his throat, revealing his fangs. The 3 peculiar blade scars on his forehead writhed as he stared hard at Luophone. Ah, that's right. However, Sirius, you should know that if you kill me, you won't be able to get access to those anonymous accounts and sensors. Without my permission, even if you get access to my world ring, you won't be able to connect. Luophone looked at the 52 black balls in his palm. What's more, you can't kill me. Even Silver, who specializes in time laws, can't kill me. You specialize in space laws. In terms of speed, I'm faster than you. How will you kill me? Luophone stared at Sirius. Sirius's killing intense sword. Luophone faced him coldly. The two of them stared at each other from afar. Good, good, good. Sirius said solemnly. You're so strong. Your position in the human race must be extremely high. Acquiring treasures in the outside world is much easier than in the ice prison. 2 treasures, it wouldn't be weird if you weren't moved. All right, I'll give you the most important treasure of Sirius. I'll use this treasure to exchange with you. Luophone was shocked within. Sirius had even more valuable treasures? I won't give you the other 2 treasures. I'll just take this one. Sirius stared hard at Luophone. I've acquired it. That's also fate and luck. Such a treasure. Even the knights of the universe would fight over it. I was in the ice prison, killing a weak foreign race, and found it by chance. What treasure? Making it sound so mysterious. Don't tell me it's a legendary treasure. Luophone sneered. I don't believe it. Of course it's not a treasure. The legendary treasures are things that even the knights of the universe would go crazy for. Even though this one of mine isn't a treasure, it's still much more valuable. Sirius's right claw lifted up slightly. An item appeared on it. It was a 6-edged stone the size of a human's palm. On the stone, there was a peculiar beast standing and roaring. Luophone glanced at the ferocious beast carving on the stone, and his heart skipped a beat. He had seen many peculiar beasts before, like the 9 universe tablets beast pictures, like the beast god. And this roaring beast gave Luophone a special feeling. What is this, a normal stone tablet? It doesn't even have any strong energy. At most, it's a little special. How can it be considered treasure? Luophone sneered. Just enter it with your consciousness, and you'll know. Sirius stared at Luophone. This is the universe's largest power ancestral god sex inheritance tablet. Naturally, it's much more valuable than a treasure. Chapter 9:57. The universe's strongest power, the ancestral god sect. Luophone was suspicious. He didn't know anything about the ancestral god sect. However, the inheritance token did indeed affect him. Let me take a look. Luophone extended his hand. You can use your god energy to check. Sirius's jade eyes looked at Luophone. As for the inheritance token, before the deal is done, it's better to leave it with me. I'll hold it. You can use your god energy to check. Luophone looked at Sirius before him. You sure are careful. Humans are cunning. Sirius urged. If you want to check, you better hurry. Luophone's gaze landed on the hexagonal stone plate. Immediately, a formless spiritual force flew out and quickly drilled into the hexagonal stone plate on the Sirius's claw. The moment the spiritual force entered, it was as if it entered an ancient world. With the beast god inheritance token, head towards the inheritance grounds. If your talents and abilities match, you'll have a chance of obtaining the beast god inheritance. The universe coordinates of the inheritance grounds are. A wave of information drilled into Luophone's mind. Within it, it described that this 6-edged stone was a combination of earth and space laws, the inheritance token. This made Luophone slightly disappointed, as he trained in the fusion of gold and space laws, the beast god path. You've seen it. Sirius looked at Luophone. Make your decision. Let me think. Luophone said. No rush, no rush. I've waited for countless years. Think for a while. Of course I'm not in a rush. Sirius stood in the palace and stared at Luophone. And even though Luo Feng frowned and stood there, in truth his consciousness was already connected to the virtual universe. Virtual universe, Luo Feng's villa, study. Luo Feng swiftly searched for information on his laptop. Ancestral God Sect. Luo Feng first searched for information on the Ancestral God Sect. Ever since he successfully passed the sector Lord-level Primal Sky Mountain, his authority level had risen once more. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The screen already had information regarding the Ancestral God Sect. Luo Feng began to look through it. Beast God Inheritance Token. After which, Luo Feng looked through the information. Ancestral God Sect, the universe's #1 power. When a universe was born, the Ancestral God Sect was born. The highest position in the sect were the 3 ancestral gods, 3 elder gods, 8 beast gods, 72 divine generals, and 3,000 divine envoys. This was the fixed number of powerhouses in the ancestor god cult. Although there were oracle candidates, divine general candidates, and beast god candidates, there could only be 1 beast god for each of the 8 major beast gods. Unless the original beast god died, it was absolutely impossible for a new beast god to be born. It was the same for god generals and god envoys. Each of the 72 god generals and 3,000 god envoys was unique. The ancestor god sect's inheritance was divided into 3 types. The first was the divine envoy's inheritance, the second was the divine general's inheritance, and the third was the beast god's inheritance. The legacy of the beast god was already the highest legacy. The 8 great beast gods were all-powerful lords of the universe. Many powerhouses from the billions of races in the vast universe had pursued the path of the beast gods, and some had even obtained the legacy of the beast gods. Some of them had even cultivated to the level of a true beast god. Even so, he still couldn't become a beast god, unless the beast god of this path of cultivation perished. Once one sat on the seat of the beast god, this honorable seat of the beast god would allow a powerhouse's strength to soar. This was also the reason why each beast god, divine general, and divine envoy only had 1 honorable seat. The Ancestor God Sect was an open-minded sect. They did not engage in power struggles, nor did they need territories. This was because their entire sect only had over 3,000 powerhouses. They recruited powerhouses from the billions of races in the universe. Their various legacies were scattered across the universe, allowing all sorts of fated people the opportunity to obtain the legacies. Those who obtained the legacies were not considered members of the Ancestor God Sect. Even if they cultivated to the great success stage, they still wouldn't be members of the Ancestor God Sect. Only those who inherited the honorable seat could become members. The Ancestor God Sect did not interfere in the wars between races or power struggles. Besides the 3 lofty ancestor gods, the other 8 beast gods, 72 god generals, and 3,000 god envoys were scattered across the billions of races in the universe. The god envoy legacies, god general legacies, and beast god legacies naturally had higher statuses. Among them, the lowest was the god envoy legacies. Those inheritance crystals drifted across the universe and were obtained by powerhouses. As for the divine general inheritance grounds, they were fixed and scattered across the universe. As for the beast god inheritance grounds, they were controlled and protected by the Ancestor God Sect. And to enter the inheritance grounds, one had to have the beast god inheritance token. The beast god inheritance token had a total of 8 types. They were gold, space, wood, space, earth, space, light time, wind time, thunder time, the 8 fusion paths. It also represented the 8 beast god paths. Our human race had a rule long ago. If a warrior obtains the beast god inheritance token, he can use it for himself. If he doesn't need it, he can present it to the race. The race will give treasures of the same value. They can even give another type of beast god inheritance token. Luo Feng finished reading all of this in one go. His eyes gleamed. The Ancestor God Sect was actually such a powerful power. Their legacies were scattered across the many territories of the universe. However, their true members were pitifully few. There were only 3,000 of them. 3 ancestor gods, 8 beast gods. Luo Feng thought. Just how strong are the ancestor gods? Don't tell me they're on par with Mountain Passenger Teacher. Only then can the ancestor god sect be called the number 1 power in the universe. Elite strategy. The ancestor god sect completely relied on elite strategy. Their numbers were small, yet they were able to surpass the 6 pinnacles. If I obtain this beast god inheritance token, won't I be able to exchange for a suitable token with a race? Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. His eyes gleamed. Sirius, consider yourself unlucky. Ice Hell, in the palace hall of the Southern Ice Hell's Master Skywolf. Sirius was staring at Luo Feng. Have you thought it through? Sirius spoke. Luo Feng nodded. Very good. Are you willing to trade? Sirius' aura grew slightly stronger. Obviously, he really wanted to return to the race. He was now an Emperor Invincible. Of course, there was still a gap between him and the emperors of the outside world. But that gap was in treasures. His own strength was enough. As long as he had a few suitable treasures, his life preservation and battle strength would rise another level. That would truly be heaven-defying. Trade. Luo Feng looked at Sirius. Smart. Sirius immediately let out a laugh. Human, give me the virtual universe anonymous account sensor first. I need to verify it. It's better if we exchange it together. Luo Feng frowned. Haha, are you messing with me? Sirius said. If I had given you the beast god's inheritance token directly, you could have turned around and left quickly. You could have even turned off that anonymous account sensor. If I don't verify it, how would I know if you're telling the truth? Luo Feng glanced at him and thought. Sirius was very crafty. He didn't know if he could fall for it. What you say makes sense. Luo Feng waved his hand and threw out a mini quantum computer. A wave of God energy immediately wrapped around the mini quantum computer. Sirius stared at it, his green eyes filled with excitement. Back when he was imprisoned in the ice prison, even though his position wasn't low, it wasn't high either. However, now that he was an Emperor Invincible, he would definitely be valued by the race. The moment he returned, his glory would be limitless. He would be nurtured by the race. Becoming a Universe Knight wouldn't be hard. With his Emperor Invincible strength, the moment he became a Universe Knight, he definitely wouldn't be a normal one. Do according to what I say. Sirius roared softly. A silhouette appeared beside him. This was an extremely beautiful silhouette with 6 wings. She was about 9 m tall, and her entire body was blurry. Her figure was graceful and alluring. Yes, master. The female servant replied respectfully. She received the mini quantum computer, following which she connected to the virtual universe. Sirius looked excitedly at this scene, glancing at Luo Feng a few times. Luo Feng watched silently. He too was connected to the virtual universe to monitor everything. Luo Feng's authority was extremely high. He could already be considered one of the upper echelons of humanity, even though he wasn't the highest. However, as the direct disciple of the primal Chaos City leader and entering the ranks of the strongest geniuses, his authority was extremely high. In fact, he had created a local area network for the anonymous account, which meant that anonymous account, no matter what it did, in truth, it was just him playing alone. For example, playing virtual reality games, there would be many players. For example, drinking on the streets, there would indeed be many people in the bars. However, in truth, this was all a simulation. Many places in the virtual universe have been simulated. At least Luo Feng wouldn't be able to tell it was fake. No matter what you're doing, if you want to send a message, just do it. It's a pity you're in the private virtual universe network. You're completely cut off from the entire virtual universe network. Luo Feng thought. This female servant has entered the game, the 3rd ranked virtual reality game. This is a virtual reality game with over 30 million years of history. Luo Feng watched everything. As humanity's history was endless and long, there were indeed many virtual reality games that were played by many people. A complete virtual reality game that lasted for over 100 million years was normal. As long as one could earn a lot of money, the game would naturally be able to continue. The female servant. HM. She released a bounty mission for the entire game. Luo Feng discovered through his monitor that after the female servant entered the game, she first transferred some money from a small anonymous account in the universe First Bank. After which, she released a bounty mission for the entire game. After that, she did a few other things. After staying in the game for a while, she went offline. Within the palace, Sirius looked at the female servant. She replied respectfully, "Master," there's no response. Human. Sirius stared at Luo Feng. His jade eyes were filled with madness. You're playing with me. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.